It's the Standard Pauper Show full set review for M15. What I did is I took the last 3 shows, mashed them together, and combined them into one giant set review. Now the sound's going to change throughout. That's because we recorded them in different places at different times, but I hope you can enjoy it anyway. Again, this is the full set M15 review by me, Brennon, and my friend Sam. Thanks.
It's spoiler time. It happens. Actually, this time it's happened a lot. We've had more spoilers in the past year than I can remember.
Just since January, there's been 4.
Yeah.
This will be the 5th set that has come
gosh.
out. When you
That's
stop and
nuts.
think about that, like, I remember between 4th edition and Ice Age, it was like a year and a half without a set or something. It was insane. I mean, that's going way, way back, but it's
Right.
nice that they're giving so many options. So
It is pretty cool. Alright, let's look at the first one. M15. Sorry these pictures aren't so great. They're basically copies of copies. And I got them off of Mythic Spoiler. It's a great site. They do a really good job of keeping up with what's going on in the world of spoilers. First one. 3 white. Meditation puzzle. I don't speak slowly. I will mispronounce all of these. Instant. Convoke. Bringing that mechanic back. You gain 8 life. I'm not a fan of just straight up you gain life spells. But can it work with Convoke? I still don't think that tapping... Okay, let's say you had enough to tap completely and not pay one single bit of mana for this. So, are you willing to tap 5 of your creatures? You can do it at the end of their turn, obviously, just to gain 8 life.
am I? Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing in my mind, it's good against one deck, mono red, and mono red is also the best prepared to pick off your dudes
Right.
to keep you from being able to cast it for free. And the only way it's playable is if you're casting it for 0.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would never, ever pay 5 mana for 8 life.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a couple cards in Standard right now that let you time to feed. You gain 3 life and you kill a creature. I mean,
That's awesome.
it's so much more effective. I know it's green and it's not exact translation of cards, but I mean, it's way better. So,
Yeah.
life gain for the sake of life gain, it just spins your wheels. It's nice when it's tacked on to functional cards, but that's not this situation. So
No, not at all. If it did something else, anything else, I think I would consider it. Maybe if it dropped a token or 3.
yeah, just something.
Something,
I mean,
anything else.
anything else. Draw a card.
Draw a card, destroy, enchant, exile, cycle, anything. Yeah, something.
Scry 1.
Scry, yeah. We
Discard
get
a card.
nothing.
Even a drawback would make it a more interesting card. I'm pretty sure it's a mediation puzzle.
Mediation, what did I say, meditation?
It said meditation.
Yeah, meditation. It's meditation.
You're right.
Not that I couldn't be wrong. Trust me.
I could be wrong too.
I say words incorrectly.
I barely
every
say
day.
words.
Yeah, you mostly just
Making all
guttural noises is what I'm mostly good at.
Grunting and pointing.
You're gonna start beating sticks together to ward off evil spirits.
Yes. I worship the sun and live in a cave. Okay.
Okay, next one. Marked by on. 3 and a white. Enchantment or enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +2/+2 and has vigilance. 4 mana to give it +2/+2 and vigilance. Now this reminds me of Mark of the Vampire, which gives +2/+2 and lifelink. I like that a lot. Is vigilance worth it? So, what are we doing here? We are basically giving it an Observant Alseid for 1 less mana? Is that right? Is Observant Alseid 4 and a white?
I'll gather it real quick.
Gatherer. Oh,
Gatherer.
They just changed Gatherer. That's a different interface.
It's horrible looking on my phone.
You know what you can't search for? Conspiracy.
What?
Like,
oh.
Yeah, isn't that weird? If you go to set right now, there's no option to choose Conspiracy.
Oh, it's not even on the new list either. Observant.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that right? The Vigilant Alseid.
I think it is. There it is. It is 5, yeah.
Yep. So, I think I'm just keeping Observant Alseid in my deck and foregoing this right here.
I think so too. I mean, just the simple fact that if anything happens to your creature, you get that 2/2
right
Vigilant guy. I mean, that's really good. I think Marked by Honor could be some weird rotation card if Hexproof stays a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fingers crossed that they're not going to Hexproof us in M15. I'll have to kind of just move away from that mechanic in the base set. So, I mean, they only printed 2 Hexproof cards in M14, and really only 1 sees play, but it's still very frustrating because there's very few tools to answer it in Standard Pauper. So.
Yep. Oh well. I'm gonna give this one a pass for now. Yeah, probably just pass on it. Okay, next one. Shadow Cloak Vampire. I'm gonna take this off real quick. So I really need to put more off. There we go. Alright, Shadow Cloak Vampire. 4 and a black. For a vampire, oddly enough, pay 2 life. Vampire gains flying until end of turn. So it is a 4/3 for 5 mana that you can give flying for the cost of 2 life. That's going to be a hard sell.
I see it as limited fodder, unfortunately. I'm looking up something I think is a strong comparison. 1 second. That everybody in the world seems to love, even though I'm never a huge fan. For 3 and a red, you get a 3/2 Intimidate Blade Tusk War, and I would just be so much happier casting a Blade Tusk War.
Yeah, Intimidate. It's pretty good.
You play it and you swing. I mean, and you don't have to pay 2 life. And unless there's some weird self-harm theme in M15, I just don't see it being a real card.
Maybe they bring back that card that those, what's the old common that gained back all life that you lost this turn?
I do not know.
Because if you have 2 of them out, let's say you knock yourself down by 18 life, you pay, I think they're Daru something, but then you sack that creature, get that 18 life back, and then you pay it again. This worked with the, there is creatures that you can use the Phyrexian mana to pump it, and then you could pump yourself down another 18, and then you sack another one, and you get 36 life back because you have lost a total of 36 life. So, I don't see them ever bringing back that card, but yeah. I'm going to pass on this one. Just not good enough. Alright, here's one that I think I'm more excited about than I should be. And Sam, you can bring me back down from this cloud 9 that I'm on. But Triplicate Spirits. It's 4 white. So 6 mana for a sorcery, but it has Convoke. You can put 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So, it's the same cost as a. Let's see, how many? I guess it's even more than a Lingering Souls flashback. Because I think Lingering Souls flashback is 5.
Yeah, it's 1 more.
1 more. But you get one less token.
But you get to stay all white.
Yeah, you do. Your board would have to be pretty thick already.
Right.
And if it was thick enough that you could tap, let's say three creatures, so that you could take down to a casting cost of 3.
Great.
It is great, and you get those 3 creatures back that you just tapped. But is it worth it in the long run? I don't know. I mean, I want to like this card so much because I could see some sort of Soul Sistery, White Weenie, something happen here that I don't know. Maybe it can work. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it gets better the second, the third you cast. Obviously,
right.
The more of them you cast throughout the course of the game, the better it is. It costs as much as 2 spectral possessions for only 3 tokens, but in Standard Pauper, it actually, I mean, it's a built-in 3 or 2 for 1 basically, because you're spending a card that negates one of the tokens, you get 2 more tokens. It's not a bad card, and Convoke. From what I remember from OG Ravnica, it's actually a really useful mechanic. I know they played around with it a little for Time Spiral Block, but I don't know how big of a splash it had because I wasn't playing then. But I think it has potential. It really depends on what type of support it gets in the set. Like if they move white back to just weenies for their main source of creatures, I think it could have legs if they're going kind of big again. Mid-game type of creatures like a 4 to 5 casting cost, it's probably not going to really be all that great. So
right. What I'm thinking is that they are going to. I think the entire Cons of Drakir is probably going to revolve around weenie/horde mentality. So this may get better when the next set comes out. So I think, if nothing else, it's something to keep our eye on.
I looked up that card. It's Children of Corliss.
That's it, Children of Corliss. Yeah, that card.
I could not remember it. You gain life equal to the life you've lost this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do some shenanigans with that.
Yeah, like I was saying, you can lose a tremendous amount. Oh, what was that? There used to be the rule that you basically didn't die until the end of your turn if you had 0 life.
I call it the Zarin Orb rule.
Yeah.
Because that card saved my life so many times. Sacrifice a land, sacrifice a land, sacrifice a land. Games lasted for hours.
Yeah, but they don't have that anymore.
No, never again. It would be a mythic.
Right.
Sacrifice 6 lands, gain a life.
No, that's terrible.
That's so bad.
Alright, and here's the removal we should all start getting used to. Flesh to Dust. 3 black, instant, destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. Hope everybody loves these high cost instant remove spells, because you're going to have to start getting used to them.
A fun little fact, the last time a new card, not a reprint, a new card that said it cannot be regenerated was printed in black, destroy target creature, it cannot be regenerated, was original Ravnica, and it was Brain Spoil.
Really?
Yes.
That long ago?
There has been reprints since then of things like Terminate and Petrify. But when did Petrify come out? Was that in Dissension? I'm gonna look that up real quick because that might actually be the last time it was printed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, think about that for a second. That came out in what, 04? 05?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so and Brainswell had the transmute mechanic tacked onto it. Gosh.
And me without my phone. But yeah, I think this is a trend that's been going on for a while. It seems to me that they don't want any kind of removal that has no drawback or quasi-drawback to be anywhere near the 2 mana in common anymore.
Putrefy and Brainspoil were both printed in Ravnica originally. The thing about it is it's not even at 5 casting cost. It's one of the least clunkiest removal spells that they printed at common since the last time they printed Doomblade at common, or even Murder, even though I didn't care for Murder all that much. And just having that clause of it cannot be regenerated, it can't be regenerated, is not a bad thing. So I can see Mono Black running a few of them, maybe not until Grizzly Spectacle rotates, though, because Spectacle is just kind of all in all better.
Right.
Less, and the mill effect is actually kind of devastating, so... And I hate it. I hate it.
See, this right here, these kind of cards, where it's like, whoa, this is the move we're getting? Really makes me interested in the next set, the next Khans of Trakir. Because I'm hoping, maybe it's false hope, but that they are going to keep their snazziest cards for the expansions and not put anything too crazy at common, at least. In the
that's what they used to do when it was all reprints. Is it was, and you never got excited for a core set. I mean, you just never did. So, at least I never did. I don't know about you.
Hey, I don't want to talk about what gets me excited. It's not that kind of show. We're going to move on.
There is a Kami of False Hope. You sacrifice it to prevent all combat damage dealt this turn. That sucks. Okay.
Inferno Fist. No clue how much it costs. More than 1 red. I'll say that. Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature you control, which is sort of an odd clause on... Oh, no, I mistyped. It's a +2/+2, +2/+1. An odd clause on a red enchantment. So, it says, red, sacrifice Inferno Fist. Inferno Fist deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So, are they thinking that red deck wins with no creatures would be so interested in this card that it's willing to run a more than 1 red for 2 mana? Or, excuse me. More than 1 red mana for 2 damage spell, so we would enchant the opponent's creature, sacrifice it, and kill the opponent's creature with the sacrifice effect?
Yes. They obviously are, for whatever reason. It makes me think Shock might not be getting reprinted.
That's
I would not
crazy.
be all that sad about, but my thing is if it costs 1 to 3, it's actually not a bad card for a red deck. If it's any more than 3, it's probably just not playable.
Yeah.
I think 3 is marginally playable at that for the effect. I mean, it's not a horrible effect. I mean, I've seen people look at the Lightning Diadomdian card from Journey and think about playing it.
Gosh.
So I don't know why.
That card's crazy. It's way too much mana.
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's move on. I like this card. Frostlinks. I wish this picture was clearer, because I want to see, because it looks kind of goofy right now. Maybe it gets better when it's all colorized. But it is Baby Frost Titan. Look at that little guy. When Frostlinks enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. How awesome is that? I think it's great. Better than your average tapper.
I like it. I think it's like pseudo-detain, which isn't seeing a whole bunch of play right now with the detain mechanic. But I think like in blue, it's a tempo play, which blue does love to have. I wish it was an illusion. It has the
yeah.
illusion. So it was like a kind of a missed opportunity. It's an elemental cat or something like that.
Yep, elemental cat.
Yeah, so illusion cat. Come on, Wizards.
That would be awesome.
Yes, but I mean, I think I really want it to be one in a blue and have when its target sacrifice it.
The drawback
on it.
Yeah, that's cool.
To be on curve. It's just a little off.
I hear you. No, that'd make it an awesome card. And you'd probably put it in common.
I put it in everything. I would just build decks around it. My Frostlink deck.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I like it. Okay. Covenant of Blood. Another Convoke card. 6 and a black. Oh my god. Sorcery. Convoke. Let's see if it's worth 7 mana. Covenant of Blood deals 4 damage to target creature or player. You gain 4 life. Here we go. Remember we talked about earlier is 8 life worth convoking. Now you're talking about 7 mana, and it's, I guess, an effective life change of 8 points. Because they're going down, you're going up. But 7 mana.
Can I make a suggestion for a card you should play instead?
What's that?
Gary. You should have thrown Grey Merchant. I mean, it's less mana, much bigger swings. You don't have to worry about tapping your dudes down.
That's true.
And mono black isn't going to run that, and
no.
White black tokens might, but I mean, right now that's just like a figment of everybody's imagination. They haven't shown that it's going to be supported enough to make a card like Covenant of Blood actually playable.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just way too much. Way too much.
Even if you're tapping 4 creatures, it's still 3 mana. And at that, it's marginally playable, but I mean, do you really want to be doing that?
And you better
developing your board?
Right, you better kill whatever, better either kill your opponent with this, or kill whatever they're coming at you with, because if you just tap down 4 of your blockers to do this, it's going to be the last thing you do. Or it will be, essentially.
It will be literally the last thing that you do, yeah. So that's probably a pass.
Yeah, I'm passing on it. I don't like it. Oh my goodness. Wall of Fire. 1 red. Creature wall has Defender. Defender?
Cannot attack.
Gonna throw it. Yeah, I don't know what deck I would put this in, but for a single red, Wall of Fire gets +1/+0 until end of turn. OMG. It's an 05.
So the first time Wall of Fire was printed was in Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
It has been printed 12 times since M15 being the 12th, and I have never once ever seen it played in a constructed deck. So thinking back all the way to Alpha, which was 1994?
Oh, no, Alpha was 92.
92, yeah, because I got it in 94. The fact that Wizards would reprint this now means that R&D should take a look at commons a little closer. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this is no one wants this. No one asked for this. Was there a big contingent outside of Wizards of the Coast going, bring back Wall of Fire, bring back Wall of Fire?
Let's print a red creature. Okay, let's print one that can attack but has fire breathing. Okay. I guess we have to fill a slot.
I was about to say, that is the exact opposite of what red decks want to do.
Especially in Standard right now, like, you don't want to play something that can't attack in red. I mean,
no.
Come on.
Ridiculous. Anyway, Wall of Fire, no one's going to play it.
No, thank you.
Okay, another weird one. Rot Feaster Maggot. 4 and a black. Creature insect. When Rot Feaster Maggot enters the battlefield, exile target creature card from a graveyard. Interesting. You gain life equal to that card's toughness. So, you're getting rid of something in a graveyard, and you're gaining life. So, what do you get for all of this? For 5 mana, you get a 3/3. Is Reanimator a thing in Standard Pauper?
No.
No.
There's no facilitator card. I will just say off of what I'm looking over, 2 cards away, there's another card in black with a graveyard theme, which makes me think the Wizards might be doing something along those lines. So I could see there being a synergy there, but without the proof of the concept, I don't think this is really playable. Because there's not a lot going on with graveyards right now, and that is outside of enchantments coming back and sorceries and instants. So.
Right, and somebody removing all the creatures from your milled graveyard so that they gain 40 billion life.
That card, I think, was a mistake.
Crypt Incursion can kiss my butt.
Good lord. Yeah.
I cannot wait for that to rotate out in October.
Oh, it can't be soon enough. I just can't.
It's ridiculous to have that not in the Innistrad block, but in the Ravnica block, and giving a mill sub-theme in Ravnica. That's a jerk move, Wizards. Thanks a lot.
It was. Thank you for making Standard Pauper milly.
No.
That's it. I'm driving to Renton. Get him.
Yeah. It's time. Okay, now we have signs. No more mill. That's what we're going to pick it. But
interaction.
Even with that said, still feel bad about the last game I played with Dimir Mill and Standard Pauper Gauntlet. Ugh.
It was well fought. It really was.
I know, but I felt like I went out like a chump.
The thing about it is I watched the third game twice to see where you could have saved time. And the only thing I saw was like 3 turns before you ran out of time, you could have cast not Thassa's Bounty. Yeah, Thassa's
Bounty. Yeah.
I think that was your opportunity to save like 15 seconds, but I don't honestly think that it would have ended up making a difference.
If I had been able to cast it in that last like 5 seconds and then just hit F6 like a madman, I may have won. But we're talking 1 second. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you needed like 30 more seconds.
I know, 30 seconds and I would have had it.
And I think that one play could have got you 15, but you needed 30. And really, I mean, you were playing against Godzo.
Yeah, he's not. No, was it Godzo or Armedia?
You were playing against Armedia, right?
Yeah.
And he was playing a deck that was actually well suited against Mill.
Right. It was. No. This was not going to be easy.
No. And I thought, the fact that you sat down against a guy playing a deck that was actually well suited against your deck and is not a slouch, is like. It was a good way for Dimir Mill to lose. That's all I had to say. I was very, very you went out fighting and you went out against a really fun deck against a really good player. So you couldn't have asked for more. So
that's true. It was excitement.
It was.
Couldn't have asked for more than that, really. Yeah.
I think by far that was the most exciting Dimir Mill match of all of the Gauntlet. By far, maybe even the best match of the overall Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Even though he lost, so
it was a nail biter. I've never
so much drama.
Yes, I know. It's crazy. Anyway, let's get on with this. No more remnants. Right. Coral Barrier, 2 and a blue. Defender wall. Coral Barrier enters the battlefield. Put a blue squid creature token with Island Walk on the battlefield. I love this card. I don't even care if it's worthwhile. Squid tokens, bro. Squid tokens.
It's a 1/3 for 3 mana in blue. Oh, yeah. And you get a 1/1 with Island Walk. That looks so marginal.
It's still awesome.
I mean, you get 2 power, 4 toughness, 2 creatures, 3 mana. It sounds like a decent card to me. I'm not sure it has a home yet, but I love 187 creatures to begin with, and they don't do them very often, and this one actually seems really good. So
yeah, there's more than one card that gives squid tokens too. Squid tokens are a thing. Can you believe that?
I hope they're all little Cthulhu's.
That's so awesome. But yeah, there's another card in the history of Magic. It was blue, very similar, but you could tap it, and for blue, put in an 0/1 defender. Very similar, but this is much better. Although you don't keep getting to do it over and over again. But this costs you only 3 blue. I love it.
I like it quite a bit.
So.
It's simple and elegant in its design.
Yeah. For 3 mana.
For 3 mana at common.
It's almost like the blue version of Attended Knight. Now, Attended Knight was way more aggressive. But what blocks that first striker? This guy.
Well, white's going to be more aggressive, but blue likes this card.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch. A whole bunch. So, I think it's gonna find a home, even if you have to create a deck to get it a home.
Right. And if blue has Convoke, you just put down 2 Convokers. Just saying.
Yes, absolutely, for 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 mana. So, yeah, no, I'm digging it.
Love it.
I think it's awesome.
I do too. Maybe unreasonably so, but once I saw squid tokens, I can't quit you, squid tokens.
You had me at squid tokens.
All right. Now, here's one I think you and I have already talked about. Void Snare. For 1 blue, sorcery speed, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand.
I've come around. When I first saw it, I was like, not instant, not playable, thank you, good night. But in the first few turns of the game, it's actually a really, really strong tempo play. So I think I actually kind of like it. I don't know if I like it, but I like it. So.
I don't know if I'm in with it, but I like it.
I'm worried it doesn't like me back.
Right, okay. Exactly. I'm going to send it a note and say check 1, yes or no. But
so the card you were talking about a little bit ago is Wall of Kelp.
Wall of Kelp, yes.
From Homeland. So one of the worst sets of Magic of all time. But it did let you put plant wall named Defender onto play, so onto the battlefield. So
Wall of Kelp.
Wall of Kelp.
How much was it to cost? Was it blue?
It was blue and blue to activate.
Yep, there it is.
And it's 0/3. So
I had a Simic Defender deck that I used to run that in. And Brantley's Wall Ramp deck. And that was a part player in that deck.
Yeah, because you just keep pumping out walls.
Mm-hmm.
Walls all day.
End of turn, pump out a wall. End of turn, pump out a wall.
You know what I need? I need more kelp. Give me some kelp.
Who doesn't need more kelp in their life? Everybody needs a little more kelp.
The thing about Void Snare is that if you're casting it on their 1, 2, 3 drop, be it a creature or a creature enchantment artifact, even though we don't get a lot of those, it's almost remand style Time Walk, and I think it's probably just about the strongest tempo position in Standard Pauper. So I like it.
Yep, not bad.
And I didn't, so I've come around.
Right. It's how much blueness can you fit in a single blue mana? A return target permanent to hand, to me, seems like probably the most you can do outside of Dispel to be really blue.
At 1 mana, yeah. There's not a lot else going on in the 1 slot besides playing a Cloudfin Raptor, which you're not. I don't think you're playing Void Snare in the same build very often.
And we won't talk about Delver.
Huh?
We won't talk about Delver.
Yeah. If you're talking about Delver, there's better options than this regular Pauper. Let's play Boomerang. I mean, Boomerang to land, make your opponent cry.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it's so good. So good.
Alright. Necromancer's Assistant. 2 and a black. Creature zombie. When Necromancer's Assistant enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard. Mill yourself. Get a 3/1. There has to be something it's enabling. What?
Well, I mean, it enables Rot Feaster Maggot sometimes, but I just feel like there's a theme that we've only seen the tiny tip of.
Yeah, because even if you did Rot Feaster, if it is significant enough for me to want to play Rot Feaster for the 5 mana to then gain X life, what I put in the graveyard... What did I put in the graveyard that I'm exiling that I would rather not play? You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, that's the thing is like, are losing those 3 cards worth it right now with our set of information? Mm-hmm. Probably not for a 3/1, but we don't know. There could be good stuff that goes out of the graveyard into the graveyard. And, I mean, Necromancer's Assistant kind of just is a good engine for that. So I don't know. It really depends. It's so dependent on what the cards are going to do.
Yeah.
What else is going to come along to support it. It's very much like the triple spirits or triplicate spirits. That card, I wanted to say, that's just like one of the laziest names I've ever heard.
Triplicate. Okay, we're going to give them 3 spirit tokens. What do we call it?
I mean, Trinity Souls, 3 ghosts. I mean, did the janitor come in and name it?
They should have just named it 3 spirit tokens.
I'm not a big. I mean, I don't know. It's a core set. It's not an expansion, and they kind of go light on creative, I think, for these. But the flavor doesn't seem super strong so far. Not that I really play for the flavor, but still.
Yeah, I hear you. Alright, so this is a tentative. Gotta wait and see what else is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's look at the last spoiled card for tonight. It is a land. Radiant Fountain. Land. When Radiant Fountain enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. There's a whole cycle of 2 life cards, except this one does not come into play tap like the other ones do. However, you only add 1 mana to your mana pool for tapping it, and it's colorless. So,
I think you draw that comparison immediately to the Chimera Crossroads.
Yeah. And
the thing that makes the Crossroads like silently just a really strong card in decks like Burrow's Kitty and Azuria's Kitty,
right,
is that it replaces a plains. So it's a plains with a bonus.
Right.
And as long as you're willing to take a kind of a hit on tempo or play it mid-game or late game, it's stronger than a plains because it gives you that little edge against aggro.
Uncounterable life.
I mean, it just feels like it's going to need support to make playable, and I'm not a huge fan of cards you have to make playable.
Right.
I want them to be playable when they go into my deck.
Yeah, and are you playing this over the Locust that gains life?
I'm
talking about classic. Yeah, in classic Pauper.
Oh no! Even without Cloud Posts, Glimmer Void is Glimmer Post. Glimmer Post is still a better card.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah.
And I don't.
You get 4 of those into play. Your last one gains you 4.
Yeah.
So no, not at all. Never. Not even a consideration. So. And I don't know if it's going to have a home in Standard Pauper because it just feels like you need colored mana.
Right, and also what's rotating out in October?
the guild gates.
All the guild gates are gone.
And they're not going to... I mean, they're too tied to Ravnica to get reprinted in a base set.
Yep.
So that's just not even a possibility. And Wizards, I don't think is going to... They had their experiment with color fixing at common. Unless Cons brings something, it's going to be all like that. So
right, unless Cons brings back something like Lotus Petal. Yeah.
I was listening to something, Limited Resources, when they were doing the Vintage Masters, and Marshall was like, yeah, I've heard a couple of rumors, and he doesn't know anything extra. He gets to see cards when he writes the reviews before, like, he spoils them, but he doesn't get to go into R&D or any of that type of junk.
Right.
Like, I keep hearing that they're going to do a set based around the wedges. Not the shards, but the wedges, the enemy colors. And he's like, so I've heard that from a few different people that's the theory about cons, is that it's going to be the wedge set, which when you go and you look and gather, there's not very many wedge cards. There just aren't.
No.
So that would be really cool. Even though it doesn't have the meaning that it used to have, like during like Apocalypse back in Invasion Block, but because there's a lot more enemy gold cards out there. But still, even then, I mean, you're still not going to ever want colorless lands, at least not anytime soon. So this isn't Mirrored and Block, folks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of 3-color themed decks. I didn't care about Alara, and if this is another 3-color set, I'm probably going to be meh throughout the whole next year. I just don't like it.
I love 3-color decks.
I'm not a fan.
I like 4-color decks. I like 5-color decks. So.
You have seen me play on a number of occasions. Do I love 3-color decks?
No.
No, I do not. Oh, well. But anyway, yeah, it's a neat design, but I just don't think Radiant Fountain has a home. So yeah, maybe one day this will find some corner case that it works in, but no.
Which is familiar. That's right. I know you're having a hard time containing yourself with the amount of excitement that a 2-3 for 3 gives you, but this will not see any play whatsoever in Standard Pauper. There's just nothing.
It's a limited card, but it has an awesome Froggy on it, and
he's cool. Huge. Why didn't they just bring back Chub Toad? I love Chub Toad.
Or Scathe Zombies?
Scathe Zombies. I mean, right now, in Standard Pauper, we already have, what are those 2 Minotaurs? The Fellhide and the Undead Minotaur.
Yeah.
Both relevant creature types, and 2-3s for 3.
Maybe there will be a frog card, like Witch Bog, the Cauldron, and all of that stuff that I just haven't seen yet, but it won't be common.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Newt. Alright, let's look at the next one. Razorfoot Griffin. Okay, this one right here is a 2/2 flying first strike for 3 and a white. Now, I have a problem. It's pretty good, because you want the first strike, you get flying, that's great, but I want more toughness out of this guy. Because when I think back, I think of Cloud Crusader, well, I guess that was a human knight, not a griffin, but that was 2 and 2 white, and it was 2/3 flying first strike. I just want some more out of it.
I think in a format for Standard Pauper where you have Wingsuit Rider, you have the Crown Skyguard, those things are more on curve for the aggressive white deck.
Right. And
you're not really I don't think anybody's gonna really go out of their way to play Razorfoot Griffin.
Yeah, no, it's 4 mana. We just a little more. Something. Gotta give me something, because we've got so much stuff that's growing. Like you said, the Wingsteed Rider. It just needs to be hit with one thing, and it outclasses this.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's only 3 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Anyway.
And I mean, the 4th mana that you put into the Wingsuit Rider is going to give it the counter, and it's going to beat whatever in the air or face even harder. So, yeah, no. Razorfoot Griffin, you're a pretty bird, but nobody's going to play you.
Nobody. Bye-bye, Razor Griffin. Okay. See, here's the thing that I expect. This Sky Hunter Patrol is like what I expect. So, something like, and that was just in X or 10, I guess you want to call it, before M10. Sky Hunter Patrol was a flying first strike 2/3. Anyway, just throwing that up there as an example.
And it's a Cat Knight.
Cat Knight. Wow, speaking of cats, Zombie Cat. This card's awesome. I made one of my first forays back into the Standard Realm. Innistrad had just come out, and I made a Bats, Cats, and Rats deck, and it had the what's that bat? It does -2, +2, and drains 2 from your enemy.
Blood Hunter.
Blood Hunter. That's it. Blood Hunter bat. So Blood Hunter, and then Sewer Rats, and then this, and then the Typhoid Rats, just to throw people off and make them discard, Range Mind, all that good stuff. Anyway, it's a 1/1 for 2, which is not great, but it has a pretty terrible downside if you kill it, because it forces them to mini him to Turok. So when this dies, your opponent has to discard at random. I don't know. I like it. I like the functionality of it. It is a little expensive for a 1/1, but the fear it puts in them is similar to Death Touch.
Well, definitely. And I mean, I don't think when Innistrad came out, I don't know if Standard Pauper was really a thing at that point. I think it was just kind of just plastic Pauper. So I don't remember seeing this cat getting a lot of play. But it looks like M15 is going to be tricky enough that maybe this is going to be around a little bit more. And I mean, discarding at random is so much more... It has so much more impact than like a Ravenous Rat discard. Taking that choice away from your opponent it's powerful. It is. I think the cat could be around a little bit more. And the 1/1 actually makes it a little more effective as an attacker, because anything your opponent's going to block it with is going to kill it, and then they're going to suffer the effect. So.
Right. And also like the art. It's awesome. It's almost like this cat can see me. Oh, I think he just blinked.
It can, Brennan. It can see.
Oh my God. Let's move on. It's freaking me out.
It is.
All right. This is a card I find interesting. I'll kind of get to that in a second. Miner's Bane, 4 and 2 red, so 6 mana. This thing better end games. But it has the ability, it's a 6/3, excuse me. It has this ability, for 2 and a red, it gets +1. Which you think, that's pretty good for 2 and a red when you're attacking with it. You can make it a 7/3, but it also gains trample. That's good. So, for the same casting cost, let's say you're throwing down 4 and 2 red, you attack with the next turn, you can potentially attack with an 8/3 trampler. I think that's pretty good. But that 6 mana that's going to take a long time to get to.
I think it actually feels like a dangerous card. I don't know where it fits right now into the format, but I think it has too much upside not to at least be tried out. Gains trample and power, and I mean a 6/3 for 6 isn't a horrible starting place, especially in red. So I like it. I think it has the potential.
And when I was playing the Standard Pauper Gauntlet, there was the Gruul Biggies. Your deck.
My deck.
I think this could have fit in there, because if you can ramp out
I kind of like this one better than the, what's the worm? That was the gruel worm that came out?
Yeah.
Oh, what was he called? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it was just the
big worm.
Vanilla worm. Yeah, I literally put every green
he had
red
trample?
6 casting cost creature in the deck. So this would have.
I would have rather had this one.
Yeah, no, this would have fit nice in that. So
yeah,
I like it, and it's an elemental.
I think so. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Hunter's Ambush. The picture is terrible, and I apologize. But Hunter's Ambush. It's a 2 and a green instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt by non-green creatures. This is an interesting card. One of the things I like about it is that it reminds me of Moon Mist. I ran a werewolf deck, and I loved Moon Mist. You transform all humans, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn other than by wolves and werewolves. And this is less specific because it just says non-green creatures. So, but it is I think of it only as a combat trick. I wouldn't run this as a main deck fog, but is 2 and a green too much for this kind of trick?
I don't think.
If you're already playing green.
Well, I have a hard time saying that it is because it has a blowout factor. It does? Yeah.
You could, and then if you do surprise somebody with it, so if you're running green, you're not. The odds are you're not running a weenie strategy. You may have a lot of creatures on board, but usually they're going to have a little bit more oomph to them. So I think there's a lot of potential for this to be a surprise. I wouldn't do like 4 of, but when you do get that surprise, you're gonna feel like a gambler, and you're gonna get the gambling bug. Oh, can I do it again? I don't know.
How far away?
I'm on the fence on this one.
How far away from this is like saying, give all of your green creatures protection from non-green creatures?
Creatures, basically?
Yeah. How far away is
well,
it from,
for protection, you can just blow through their defenses. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, protection...
So what you're saying is how far away is it from the Brave for the Elements, is what you're saying?
Exactly. Like, you let blocks get declared, you play this, all of a sudden, their creatures, unless they're playing green, and this card kind of just drops to the basement, their creatures don't deal damage anymore, and you're getting them.
Yeah.
I mean, and typically you're playing more powerful creatures than they are, or I don't know what you're playing green. So, no,
right.
I think it has the potential. I mean, if you look past the silly fog part of it and go, you could probably get some people with this, and I like that. So, I would like it a little more at 2 mana.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 2 mana seems more fitting.
Not only that, but a lot of green tricks are at 2 and not at 3.
Yeah.
This being at 3 telegraphs.
Yep. That's another thing. You're going to have to keep mana open, and I think people will see it coming. Like I said, you're not going to want a 4 of, but I don't know. Again, this is a big maybe. All right, let's look at the next one. This one is Heliod's Pilgrim. Again, another terrible picture. But all of these have been brought to us by MythicSpoiler.com. Thank you, Mythic Spoiler. I appreciate it. Oh, what? Mythic Spoiler can talk? Oh, my God. So, this card right here, so far, and I probably should have saved this one to the end, but has my vote for best common in the whole set. Holy crap, look at it.
It plays so good with Theros Block.
Oh my God! I think there's a reason why this wasn't printed in Theros Block. It's a 2 and a white for a 1/2 human cleric, but when it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for an aura card and put it in your hand. This is a tutor at common for for any aura card. It's not any enchantment, but if you remember the Totem Guide Heart Beast a long time ago in the Rise of the Eldrazi, it did the same thing, but that was for 5 mana. This is for 3. I don't know. This to me seems crazy. I would not be surprised if this just fits into a regular standard.
Do you think that they held it back for M15 just to keep it in with ethereal armor for a shorter amount of time?
I think they did it because I think it would have warped the draft format.
Oh, it would have. Yeah, it definitely would have, especially in Theros block. I think it would have pushed
yeah.
a lot harder.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's why you wouldn't want to draft this in there. It's one thing to have Auramancer to get it back from the graveyard, but to actually go search for it?
Oh, man, I didn't even think about it with Auramancer.
Mm-hmm.
If Auramancer gets a reprint, that's going to be all sorts of funky.
We'll see. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But anyway, this is Heliod's Pilgrim. Crazy, crazy card. Craig Westco did an article this week on M15 White Weenie Update, and he talked about this one as well. He doesn't like it at 3 mana, which I think is kind of crazy. But he says he also thinks it'll probably see just regular standard play. I mean, he didn't really talk about Standard Pauper.
I mean, I draw the comparison straight to Trinket Mage.
Mm-hmm.
It's less restricted than Trinket Mage. It lacks a point of power. But you're not playing Trinket Mage for it being a 2/2. You're playing it for the tutoring ability. And I'll have to say, at the most part, enchantments recently have had the more impressive abilities compared to artifacts. So I think it's not just gonna see play in Standard Pauper. It's gonna see play in Standard. It's gonna see maybe Classic play, Standard or Classic Pauper play because it feels good in hexproof, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That really, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I mean, it lets you cut back on some of the kind of the more silver bullet enchantments and play more creatures, which the deck often kind of lacks.
Right.
Having a few more bodies in play, and I mean, you're not going to go Ultron on or Voltron on it, but
it would help the whole Devour Flesh.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would help non-targeted removal because you'd be happy. The Pilgrim's done its job already getting your Armadillo Cloak.
Right.
So.
Yeah, what more do you want?
Nothing. I want it to be an antelope. Look at that majestic Heart Beast.
Yeah, that Heart Beast is. He's too much mana.
He has too much mana, but he is mighty.
Only thing Heart Beast ever went and got was Eldrazi Conscription.
And for good reason.
Well, Eldrazi Conscription is ridiculous. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's look at the next one. Although Heliod's Pilgrim, I will have 4 of you.
Yes.
Well, there it is. There's the Heart Beast. I forgot I put a picture of him in here.
Heart Beast, that's why I was talking about him.
No, I was just thinking about it. All right, yep. There he is. Weird-ass looking antelope.
He is a big old beastie.
Yeah. Phew. Okay. Now here's one that you and I are split on. I know that because we already talked about it. That's right, folks. We talk outside of the show, too. I know, crazy, right? Anyway, Invasive Species. 2 and a green for an insect. When Invasive Species enters the battlefield, return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. Now, I'm going to start off by saying, I don't want to hear any jokes about this name. Impacted Feces? No, we're not going to say that.
Brennon.
We're going to say the name Invasive Species. So no jokes about the name. Anyway, this returns another permanent you control to its owner's hand. It is a 3/3 for 3. I want more for my 3 mana. I'm greedy. I know I should have lowered expectations, but when I see this, I think of my favorite core flyer of all time. That's right, the Core Skyfisher. I love Core Skyfisher. It's a 2/3 flying with this same, quote, drawback. So, I think it cost too much. I think it should have been GG. But I know that they're trying to not have a same core Skyfisher draft problem again. I want this to be good. I want this to recur my Elvish Visionary, which we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will.
What do you think, Sam?
Okay, so this guy as a 3/2 a trample, I think people would be talking about him.
Okay.
I think as a 3/3 vanilla, it really kind of takes the wind out of the sails. But I think very specifically in Standard Pauper, it's not an effect that has been around for a while. And I think if you get it and there's some enter the battlefield effects that are abusable, I think it's playable. Have we seen anything like that in any of the spoilers? No. Is there anything like that in Theros? Not really.
Right, but
the gatekeepers are leaving.
Mm-hmm. It's the anti-pacifism card.
It is. But they haven't spelled pacifism for M15 yet, have they?
They have not.
Okay.
That is interesting, but there is oppressive rays. I know people want to forget about it, but
and I was watching some of the Pro Tour this weekend, and that card's all over the place right now.
I know, isn't it? I saw that too.
And typically, when something hits the Pro Tour, it kind of wakes people up a little bit on, hey, that card's not bad. Let's try it out in different formats. So no, I think Species, they probably had it at a higher power level at one point during testing, but they had to rein it in a little bit. You kind of feel that because it's the classic 3/3 for 3, which they don't typically do unless it's like on a flavor or something like that, like the Courser in the last core set going into Theros, stuff like that. But I like reusing enter the battlefield effects a ton. If you do it just once throughout the course of the game, you're getting so much value, and I think Species can enable that, but we need the effects to abuse. If there's not really anything to do, this card's not going to be seen. It's not going to see play. It just
Centaur Healer is leaving, and that was the biggest 3-mana EBT that I know of that was in Standard Pauper for a while. I mean,
the
I guess
gatekeepers are leaving.
Gatekeepers leaving, but I think since Flicker, not a lot of people are using the Gatekeepers nearly as much as they used to.
The white one's still great.
Putting out an extra body is awesome.
Yeah, and I think the black one is still great. I mean, they're all still great, whether they see a whole lot of play or not. I think since PK23 hasn't been playing so much, they probably have all fallen a little bit. But yeah, no, I think it really depends on what it can enable. But I mean, we've learned from Boros Kitty and Azorius Kitty, just abusing an enter the battlefield ability a couple times can really outpace you past your opponent like crazy. So it just depends.
Yep. We shall see.
You're probably right. It's probably going to be a penny.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, next one. Raise the Alarm. Oldie but a goodie. 1 in a white instant for 2 soldier creature tokens. I like this card. As far as instant tokens go, there's not another card like it.
Yep, Foe Haste. And it looks really good on an Ishran Scepter. Not that we're going to get to do that. But no, I've liked it since Brennon Block. I mean, it does what you want it to do. 2 power, 2 toughness on the board for 2 mana at the end of your opponent's turn. I mean, that against a control deck, that against a deck that's coming at you, you get an immediate crackback. I mean, what's not to like about this card?
It's awesome in every way that tokens are awesome. This is it, because the only other instant that comes close in white is Master's Call, where you get 2 mirror. And in my article, I break down every instant and sorcery that produces usable tokens. I didn't include Eldrazi because of the whole, you actually have to do something to make them better, or they are just enablers for something better. So I didn't include them. I just included cards that, on their own, instants and sorceries that create tokens. This had one of the best curves ever.
Oh,
There's not really, even Krenko's Command and Dragon Fodder are both sorcery speed, just like Gather the Townsfolk. Now, Gather the Townsfolk does have the potential, if you're about to die, to give you 5 tokens, which blows the curve out of the water for everybody. But that's a very rare instance, and I guess it's possible that 5 tokens can save you, but they better not have anything evasive.
My question is about that. Has anybody ever activated Fateful Hour? I have never seen it.
I've never seen it. That's what I'm saying. It reminds me of the old Final Fantasy VIII technique. There's this one character that if you kept her at low critical life, like her spells were ridiculous. So everybody played with her almost dead, like the entire game, because she basically got all crits all the time. And there's no way to enable that in Magic effectively unless you do something like Phyrexian Unlifed, where, I don't know.
I mean, there's the Child of Carlos Phyrexian activation deck that was floating around for a while. I think David Schaefer was doing that one. It was one of his brews, and that could activate the Fateful Hour thing probably. But even then, I mean, your opponent would fall for that one time and then just from that point take you to 6-0. I mean, they're not going to let you activate Faithful Hour ever again. I mean, you're never going to get the value back. Raise the Alarm by far is a more solid card.
Without a doubt.
It plays really good with Triplicate Spirits that we reviewed a couple shows ago. Because I mean, you drop this turn 2, that automatically makes that forecasting cost. And I mean, you drop a couple more creatures into play, and you're looking at having just a bunch of tokens. And I like that. I think that's going to be a good way for White to go, because White's been kind of lacking a focus. So,
yep, this will be good.
Hopefully, I'll get new artwork, because I'm tired of looking at those mirrored and human guys.
Yeah, what are they? What they have gold coming out of them?
They were the tribe that was the humans. I can't remember from Mirrodin Block, but all of the humans were like, yeah, they all had like metal claws and junk to be able to like keep up with the actual Mirrodin knights that Karn made. Yeah, Karn.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, it was all flavor. I mean, not that anybody pays attention to that when you're just playing the game. So.
Right. And this card came out in 2003.
Oh, God.
Can you believe that?
Oh, my God. I feel so old. Okay, thank you. That's
no problem.
Only 11 years ago.
Right. Okay. Next one is Gather Courage. This one sees so much play in Classic Pauper. It's 1 green, instant, with Convoke. Target creature gets +2/+2. That's crazy.
Yeah. It never ceases to be good.
No, everything. You can cast it for no mana.
Yeah.
You can block, tap, and cast this for free, and you just blew someone out when they thought they had a good attack. Or you get one person in, you can tap a defender. Or, someone with, has the defender keyword. It's just ridiculous.
And I mean, when has a free spell ever been bad?
Right.
In Magic.
Yeah, this comes back to people were kind of pooping all over the new Nissa Planeswalker, and I think a lot of people forget how much play virtually free cards get. And one of her she untaps 4 Forest, so you can theoretically play her for 1 mana, or a net loss of 1 mana. My God, that's going to see so much play. I don't care who you are.
What's the Planeswalker from Theros Block? The Dimmery Raid that puts mana into your pool equal to the creatures you have in play.
Yeah, Domri. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people at the Theros Block Pro Tour were using that guy to power out Elspeths. People
Domri was Gatecrash, wasn't he?
I don't know.
I think
am I thinking about Xenagos then?
Xenagos was Theros.
Yeah, that's it. The Xenagos, the Planeswalker version of him. People like ramp, people like free, people like reducing costs. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Gather Courage is a really good example of that being a fair card instead of being bonkers. And outside of an Infect deck, it's fair for the most part. And I like it. I mean, I think it's a good card, and I'm glad I have a playset, even though I probably paid more than I needed to.
Hey, they're good cards.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think both of us give that one a thumbs up.
Heck yeah. All right, next one is Siege Worm for 5 green. So 7 mana, creature worm for a 5/5 with trample, but it has Convoke. You can convoke a giant armored penis just straight out of your deck.
I could see this card maybe getting new art because it's grody, like, 2000 and whatever, 2005 art before they went, hey, let's make all the art look a little bit better, guys. We're trying to sell a game here, not have penis worms.
Armored wieners.
I remember my experience with this card from original Ravnica Block. And never ever wanting to play anything more than like 2 or 3 mana for it. So I have a tainted view of it.
You have a tainted worm.
Yeah, tainted worm view.
You don't like to put taint worms in your deck.
No, I mean it's not at the base of it. I mean, if you're playing it out for 4 mana, it's a great card. If you're playing it out for 5, 6 mana, it's not all that great. But we've already seen a pretty decent token strategy going on at the common level, and white-green seems to always really play nice with each other. So I could see some Siege Worms coming out. So I could see me trying to do it.
Yeah, I know. You're going to put this armored worm in your Biggies deck. I know you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see if the Biggies make some changes.
We'll find out. Okay, next one. Selfless Cathar. 1 white for a 1/1. Human Cleric. But you have, for 1 and a white, you can sacrifice the Cathar to give all your creatures +1/+1 until end of turn. This is actually a pretty good effect. For 1 mana, I think it's pretty good. I like it.
I remember playing it during Innistrad Block, and again, tokens, the ability to pump them in a mass effect like this isn't bad at all. So
no, and I know 1/1 for 1 is not the curve you're looking for, but I think there's a lot of upside to this one.
I mean, just imagine playing him on turn 4 and just blowing him up.
Yep, it's true. Especially in the weenie strategy. I mean, if we get a bunch of tokens out there, giving them all +1/+1 is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Mini Anthem
for 3 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't see a downside in that sort of strategy at all. Yeah.
I agree. Oh, and you don't have to tap them to make that happen, FYI. Yeah, so maybe if there's something that's convoked too.
Yeah, you can use it to power out a Triplicate Spirits, and then use it to protect them from a 1 casting cost poke.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's awesome. I like it. Me too. Okay, let's look at the next one. Heat Ray from Rise of the Eldrazi. Instant. Red and X. Heat Ray deals X damage to target creature. I have become spoiled in that things that just affect creatures, other than like, what are some of the spells? But just affecting creatures, I'm probably not going to put it in my deck. It would need to be able to hit a player as well for me to run it.
To produce the Flame Slash effect, you have to spend 5 mana.
Right.
I hope they keep the same flavor text and artwork because it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a mouth, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was a mouth. But no, I mean, this is one of those quintessential limited cards. It really is. They include stuff like this because limited needs decent removal, but not great.
Right. It's the R in bread.
Yeah, exactly. It's the R in bread. So, yeah, no, not a lot to say about it. I mean, it's not really gonna. It's not impactful or adaptable enough to really see any play.
Yep. All right, next one is Peel from a Reality. 1 in a blue instant. Return a creature you control and target creature you don't control to their owner's hands. I like this card with anything I have that has an EBT. So, if I was playing maybe, blue-white, and I targeted my Heliod's Pilgrim, that I can deal with. I don't know if it's sort of an unsummon, but we're going to need to see some more EBTs or ETB, excuse me, EBT. I don't even know what the heck that is. Enter battlefield. Yeah. So anyway,
the thing about this card is this is the third printing of it. It was in OG Ravnica, Avacyn Restored, and now M14. And M15, whatever.
M15, yeah.
M15. And I just don't think I've ever seen it really get played outside of the draft environment.
Yeah.
So I'm just not... I want to love it because I love this type of effect. I like bouncing something of yours, being able to recur something of mine, value, getting to recoup the cost of the card because getting the card back in hand for you a lot of the time is going to lead to you gaining more value from what you're playing. And it's reasonably costed, and it's an instant.
I see.
It's never really seemed to do enough.
Right.
Yeah, so...
If the next set, it just goes bananas with Enter the Battlefield, maybe. But until then, I think it'll have limited C and Standard Pauper.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Voyage's End is out there, and Scry 1 is infinitely more useful a lot of the times. Hubris is out there, and busting up battle cruisers is good. So, I'm just not sure about Pill. We'll see. I mean, if we get a lot of juicy Enter the Battlefield, its stock will rise.
Right. Next one is Encrust for 1 blue. Enchantment Aura, artifact or creature. Enchanted permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step, and its activated abilities can't be activated. This is I'm assuming they're not going to reprint Claustrophobia, and they're just going to put this one in there. So, I don't know.
Is it stronger than Claustrophobia?
I think only Claustrophobia taps it.
Yeah.
Like straight away. But there's the upside of inability to activate its abilities. So that's another good one. And if it does attack, it's only going to do it once without getting rid of that. And if you did it to something that was already tapped, I guess there's that. There's a lot of benefits to either. So I'm going to make the snap judgment call that this is going to see as much play as Claustrophobia did, or it'll just be the quintessential replacement for any deck that was currently running Claustrophobia, which will be out of season after October. So, I don't know. I like it. I like Claustrophobia. I like this. I wish it tapped automatically, but, you win some, you lose some.
What decks run Claustrophobia?
There were, what was it? Trying to think of the blue deck. I'll have to look. But I've seen it played. Anyway.
In a Skies deck or something like that where you just want to...
You're not trying to... Yeah. You just want to get in and get past whatever defense they have. An aggressive blue deck. How about that?
Yeah, no, and I mean an aggressive blue deck, it's awesome.
I think it's... Mm-hmm.
Would you run it over, like, Pin to the Earth?
To give it a -6?
-6, -0.
Right.
I guess it kind of depends on the
depends.
activated abilities, right?
Right, activated abilities, and you can still block with a pin to the earth.
Yeah.
Can't block if it's tapped.
Huh. It's definitely a card to keep an eye on. I mean, blue removal, for it being as rare as it is, you always have to look at it, and it's definitely a blue removal card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it has potential of seeing play, especially if they take out all of Hexproof from common, which it looks like they're kind of ramping towards doing because all the Hexproof cards have been uncommon and rare so far. So yeah, no, I mean, if they do that and there's more targeted opportunities, yeah, it could be great. So
I agree. Okay, let's look at the next one. I have Wall of Essence. This is an old school reprint. Wall of Essence, for each 1 combat damage dealt to Wall of Essence, gain 1 life. This, I think, is pretty cool. It's an 04. If you are just if your deck is designed to buy time for you to pull off something grandiose, then this is a really great way of doing it, because any aggressive deck, when they attack you, they may destroy it, but you're also gaining a lot of life, which is exactly what aggro decks don't want you to do. So,
I mean, when you think about it, 2 mana, prevent 4 damage, gain 4 life.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would play that outside of anything but a really burn heavy, really aggressive heavy environment.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still feel like Wall of Essence could be something.
Yeah, if nothing else, I think it is kind of White's answer to a 1/1 Death Touch blocker. People just don't want to attack into it.
No, I mean if you block a 2/3 with it, you just feel really good about yourself. I mean, you're gonna go have ice cream later.
You're gonna take yourself out on a mini date.
Exactly, but if you're putting in front of like a 4/4, you feel a little less good. But yeah, no, I mean, I could see the quintessential White taxing deck playing these and blocking Satyr Hoplites and stuff all day.
Yeah.
Happily.
Yeah, so, not too bad.
You want to put 3 combat tricks on that to get through my wall? Go ahead.
And then give me all that life?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
please.
Whatevs. I will enjoy watching you do that and gaining card advantage each time that you do. So.
Yep, it could see some play. I'm not saying it's auto-include, but yep, I agree. Okay, next one. Kinsbell Skirmisher. I loves me some Kithkins. One in a white. When Kinsbell Skirmisher comes into play, target creature gets +1/+1. I don't know. It's a cool little enter the battlefield, but is it enough to make me want to play tricks on it? Whereas, to force it to keep re-entering?
Like the species? This isn't the card that's going to enable the species of being a good card.
No.
This is another one of those push limited effects. It really is. I mean, and he's on curve. He pumps up your 1 casting cost creature for a turn. But that's like the effect that you're looking for.
Right, but he doesn't enable heroic.
No.
And that sucks.
And he's just a bear.
He is.
I don't see him poking his head into Standard Pauper at all.
He's a cute hobbity bear. No.
He is. He is a hobbity bear. He should be riding a chicken.
Okay, next one. One of my favorite cards of all time, Midnight Guard. 2 in a white, human soldier. 2/3. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, untap Midnight Guard. That's right. This is your white Convoke enabler, folks. You have 1. He's free mana if you're convoking a creature. Because you just tap him, creature enters the battlefield. Oh, untap. Guess what? Got my blocker back. Now, the only thing this set is missing so far that I've seen is Presence of Gond.
And I mean, I will say they're going so far around flavor in M15 that bringing Gond into M15 isn't outside of the realm of possibility. But I don't see them printing such a limiting, like such a narrow enchantment. But it would be awesome, because when I started playing Magic again and playing Paper Pauper, I built a Presence of Gone deck, and I never won with it, but I did go infinite a few times.
God, it's so awesome.
Yeah,
I know.
it is. It's so cool.
It's a ridiculous, you gotta have a lot of things go right to make that happen. But when you do, you love it.
You do. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah, all right. Next one. Tireless Missionaries. Tireless Missionaries are 4 and a white, gain 3 life.
Just yuck.
Absolutely no.
Even at a 2/3, I mean...
No. Centaur Healer was only 3 mana. And this is 5!
There's the white card from Theros that if you have a creature in play with a counter on it, you gain 3 life and it's 3 mana. And nobody's playing that.
No. And for good reason. There's no reason to play.
No.
It's a stupid card. I don't know. Maybe somebody has limited, I guess. Would I play this
card?
Really? I don't even know if I'd play this in limited.
You would if you were looking for 2 more creatures and you picked them up really late.
Oh, so you're saying the 23rd and 24th pick or whatever it is?
23rd, and then you play an extra land.
Right.
Yeah. Because you need it, because you just put a
5 cost
into your spell.
2/3.
Deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
hey, welcome to 2001.
Why not make it like a 1/4 for 4, like the card in Vintage Masters, the Triferi's Chosen or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Forecasting costs 4 life, 1/4. That card is pretty decent. It's effectively a wall, and I know. I don't even want to say that we don't get that power level at common anymore, because that's not a powerful card.
No.
But it's a solid card. But you wouldn't play it in Standard Pauper. You wouldn't play this in Standard Pauper.
Yeah, speaking of things you're not going to play in Standard Pauper. Fugitive Wizard. 1 blue, 1/1. Do we even need to talk about this card?
I don't understand. I just don't understand when this, what part of R&D went, hey, let's put this card into M15 because...
Right. Hey, remember when this card was so awesome and everybody's like, no?
Yeah. Do you think it's going to have an impact anywhere?
No.
I could see this being last picks in draft. And I don't think anybody's going to look at this and go, let's put this into my mono blue deck.
No.
So.
If you're obsessive with curve, maybe. But, anyway, moving on. So stupid.
Cloudfin Raptor.
Yeah, that's a good 1-drop.
Yeah,
and look,
while it remains legal.
Right. And also, speaking of Cloudfin Raptor and good low mana cost cards, Welkin Turn, a 1 and a blue flyer, 2/1 flyer. I know it can only block creatures with flying, but Welkin Turn's a good card. Put in your mono blue flyers, go to town.
No, I mean, no argument there. Its drawback isn't really a drawback in the deck you want to play it in, because you're going to be attacking every turn.
Yes, exactly. You're not holding them back. It would be ridiculous to hold them back. All right. Let's look at the next one. Okay, a little controversy here. Grave Digger. Great card. However, rumor has it, this card, uncommon this time.
I'm so upset. I'm just... Oh, I hate it. I just hate it. I love Gravedigger. I was so happy to finally get it back after not having it for a couple of years. And then I'm driving up to get lunch on Friday from a nice Cajun restaurant, getting a po' boy and some gumbo. And I look at MTG Salvation, and I see the headline, Gravedigger is an uncommon. And then Brennon emails me, Gravedigger is an uncommon.
I know, I ruined your lunch. I can just imagine you holding this gumbo and po' boy, and then you just throw it out your car window and be so sick of it.
I was just walking up to the restaurant going, why can't we have pretty things?
Yeah, we can't anymore.
Why?
Don't ask. Shh. Shh.
I know. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Calm. All right. Typhoid Rats. 1 black. Rat. Death Touch. This guy will... People are scared to death. Like regular rats, people will fear running into this so much. And sometimes people just run into it. If there's a Death Touch out there, you're going to have to deal with it. If you don't have the removal, guess what? Your 2/2 is going to be removal now. Just do it. Just get rid of it.
And that's the play that's appropriate to make, because you want it off the board as quickly as you can get it off the
Yes.
board. And people always screw that up. I've had pet rats. I find them cuddly. And I think Typhoid Rats could, in a stall deck, could definitely see play. I mean, right now there's a green version and a black version already, just in Theros block alone, right?
Sedge Scorpions.
Yeah, Sedge Scorpion and Freak as Chosen.
Yep, Freak as Chosen, the snake.
Yeah, so we could go nuts and just have a whole deck of this effect. So, not that I'm saying that that's a good idea.
Right. If only there was a common artifact that you could equip that would allow Death Touch creatures to ping.
Ooh, no, that's not going to happen.
No, not anymore.
We had the longbow once, and
shh, it's gone.
It's gone forever.
All right, next one. Zoff Shade, 3 and a black. For 2 and a black, you can give him +2/+2 until end of turn. He is, or it is, a 2/2. It does not have flying. The odds of me putting this in my deck are very low.
I've never been a big fan of the overcosted, underpowered pump shade.
Yeah, no kidding.
Throughout the course of Magic, and I can't see anybody really playing this. I mean, we're playing Standard Pauper in a wealth of mana sinks with all the bestow creatures. This just feels not necessary.
Right, and okay, let's say you had every single piece of mana on the board. You have 17 mana right now, okay? All your mana is on the board. If you dump all of it, so let's say, more. Let's say you had 21. I'll go nuts. So you had 21 swamps. You just threw them all out on the board by some miraculousness. You can pump it 7 times and give it 14 plus 14 and make it a 16/16, and you're still not killing your opponent.
I told you to just get blocked by a 1/1.
Yep.
Yeah.
At 1/1, yeah. Hey, remember the Typhoid Rats we saw earlier?
Yeah.
Or hell, that Fugitive Wizard we saw earlier?
There you
blocks
go.
This straight up.
Oh,
now you have no mana.
We just broke the format. We found a use for Fugitive Wizard.
Oh my god, blocking's off shade.
Oh my gosh.
Mark it down.
We did it. We did it. We should be on Trump Fireball.
Yes.
Sorry. Unnecessary dig. Forgive me, Louis Scott Vargas. Forgive me.
We'll let it slide. There's no way LSV listens to this.
No.
There's not a chance on this planet.
I love your hair.
LSV, I listen to all your puns. Or we'll read them all. They're crazy. Alright, guess what we're getting back? Sign in Blood. Black. Draw 2, lose 2.
I so wanted to love Read the Bones because the scry, but I'd rather pay 2 and draw blind than pay 3. And that extra mana just pushed it into the middle of the game, and that just made it almost completely unplayable. And this I find to be a very reasonable turn to play almost all of the time. So
it's pretty good. It's having them both in the set at the same time would be interesting.
Have you ever killed your opponent with
the Sign in Blood? Oh yeah, several times.
I think that's something that occasionally gets overlooked.
No, it's great if you have oh my god, they're at 1. I can make them draw 2 cards.
I can shock them.
5. Right.
Yeah.
So great.
I love it. Yeah, no, this is just a great card. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. Sign in Blood. Classic, oldie but a goodie. I'm glad to have it back.
Yep, me too. Alright, next one. Goblin Rough Rider. 2 and a red. It's a 3/2. That's it. Vanilla. I got nothing for this one.
my thing is, okay, it's a Goblin Knight, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Don't you just feel flavor-wise that it should have, like, if you have an even amount of lands, Goblin Knight or Goblin Rough Rider deals 30 damage to you or something as a drawback? Don't you just think, like, it should explode itself when you attack or something? Just like, oh man, I think they missed an opportunity. But no.
Yeah, it's just weird. And the thing, okay.
Generic creature, so.
It is. Okay. Who is the artist on this card? Let me look. It's kind of hard to see. Jesper Edgesing?
Yes.
Edgesing? Okay. Jesper. Again, someone who's not listening to this, but what the hell? Seriously. Okay, let's say you have millions of years of evolution. It's giving you goblins that are equipped mentally enough to ride giant creatures. This giant creature cannot exist. How is it ever closing its mouth to eat? This is I cannot stand when I guess they're going for an over the top. Oh my god, it's so crazy looking. But I hate when artists make mouths like this on creatures. This can't exist in real life. I know we're saying, I'm talking about real life and goblins, but seriously, there's nothing like this. The closest thing is the, what's that thing called? The hobgoblin shark that's near Japan or whatever that has a weird kind of derpy looking mouth. But even then, its mouth looks like it could reasonably close. I know, I'm going on a rant on something that will never change, but I can't stand it when they make ridiculous anatomical decisions like this on creatures. But that's just my rant.
That's Brennan's Art Corner for the week, folks.
It is. And Jesper, if you want to have it out with me, we can talk.
Yeah, you want to come on the show.
Yeah, I will criticize this creature's mouth while you're listening to me.
I might buy some of your art. Let's see. Thundering Giant.
Yep. 3 red. Haste. I like it. I love haste creatures that are big. Mark Zug. Decent art. See? Unlike Goblin Knight, this conveys a message. Big dude, hunched over. I get
Club.
He has a club. Anyway, it's a 4/3 haster for 5. Might be a little too much mana, but the idea is good. I just don't know if I'm going to pay 5 mana for this.
With low toughness like that, I kind of see it as removal.
Right, and if it was, again, like you said, toughness, if it was 4/4, that puts it out of lightning strike range.
Or it puts it so it can't just be chumped by like a 2-drop or a 3-drop. And that's kind of where it's at. But I mean, I don't mind running it into a 3-drop most of the time, I guess. But let's be honest, it's really not going to see any play.
No.
No,
it won't.
Not at the casting cost.
I like the idea, but no, not for 5 mana.
Yeah, I love shutting down sorcery speed removal too with haste, but it's just not. It's not good enough.
Nope. All right, next one. Rummaging Goblin, 2 and a red for a 1/1 has rummage. Tap, discard, draw card.
Remember when looters used to be fun and good? And blue. Let's not forget that they used to be blue.
Remember, blue is draw card, discard.
Yes.
Red is discard, draw card.
Which I guess you could set up to be... I mean, this guy was recently reprinted, right? And it didn't really see any play anywhere.
No, it didn't.
So I just can't imagine he's going to see any play now.
Doubtful.
Doesn't seem likely.
Nope. I don't think so. Now
I don't
come
like playing 3 mana for a 1/1 for really any reason, so...
Alright. Now, here's a 5 casting cost that we can talk about. It's 3 green, charging Rhino. It's a 4/4 for 5. Still for green, I expect 4/4s for 4. But, charging Rhino can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. That's interesting. Is it good enough? I don't know. He doesn't have trample, which gives me concern. But it is kind of an evasion, but not really. I don't know. What do you think? If it had, like I said, right, if it had trample, then you're golden.
Yeah.
But 5 mana for a 4/4.
If it had trample, you're trying to ramp this guy into play on turn 3.
Oh yeah, because you wanna spit this guy out and start running into their one creature that's gonna block it.
That's gonna jump it, and you're still gonna bleed through.
Mm-hmm.
Without trample, it just feels really weak in the 5 slot.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yep, feels weak in the slot.
I'm sorry, M15. I really like you.
Yeah. Oh, we do. We kid because we care.
Yes.
All right, the next one, Seismic Strike. 2 and a red, instant. Deals damage to target creature equal to the number of mountains you control. How many mountains do you have to have in play for this to be worth 3 mana to just a creature?
To kill Charging Rhino, Discharging Rhino, you have to wait until turn 4, be playing mono red, not miss a land drop,
and not cast anything.
Or cast a 1 casting cost spell in addition.
Right, okay.
It just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel like something that you're going to want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. And since it's target and not each, also. Yeah, I don't want this.
We talked a little bit ago about not really caring for cards that don't have the flexibility of doming.
Yes, it's got to be dome them. Dome them out. I got that loading ready run button that says dome them out. I was happy about that.
Those guys are fun.
Well, yes, they're awesome. Yes. Speaking of fun, Titanic Growth, 1 and a green, instant. That's not really fun, but whatever. Target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. It's not a bad combat trick right there.
Give me Giant Growth.
Yeah, 1 green for 3/3.
Yeah, I'll happily take the -1/-1 for 1 mana because it's way less telegraphed. You don't telegraph it. You have a forest untapped. I didn't have a 1 casting cost spell to play, but boom, I got you anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but this is probably going to be... They're not going to print Giant Growth and Titanic Growth in the same...
Yeah, no. And the last time they printed Giant Growth was Gate Crash?
No, original Ravnica. No, I'm sorry. Return to Ravnica.
Was it in Return to Ravnica? I thought it was in Gate Crash.
Pretty sure it's Return to Ravnica.
Okay, it was one of the new Ravnica Block sets, and it didn't really see any play anywhere, did it?
Giant Growth? No.
No, and this with the Convoke pump spell...
that'd be kind of cool.
I just think the Convoke pump spell is probably stronger.
Oh, exactly. You know what they need to reprint? Might of Old Krosa.
See, I wasn't playing. No, is that Kamigawa?
Around the same time, but it's Time Spiral.
Okay, no, I don't think I played with that.
It's awesome. It's a instant for 1 green, you get +2/+2, but if you cast it during main phase, you get 4/4.
Wow.
For 1 green.
That's over the top. They should definitely reprint that.
I don't even think it's that far off. Although I guess it was uncommon. Oh, crap. Oh well.
Not bad.
I like the card. All right, let's look at what's happening next. Inspired Charge, 2 white, instant. All creatures get +2/+1.
I don't understand why they can't. Why it's not just +2/+2.
For 4 mana. That's a hell of a lot of mana. When was this last reprinted? This is a reprint, isn't it?
I think Inspired Charge is not a reprint. I think it's a new card, isn't it?
Is it? Okay, it might be. Here. Okay, I am too. Inspired Charge. Nope, it's reprint.
Is it?
Yeah, let's look.
Oh, it is. Oh my god.
From M11. Yeah, it's a community rating of 2.3.
Well, what's its correlation spell? The +2/+2 instant?
Yeah, there's one in Ravnica that's 1 white, but I guess it's uncommon.
Here, I'm gonna look it up.
Guardian's Pledge. Guardian's Pledge. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it gives +2/+2.
And it's only 1 white.
So this card is just...
Yep, forget it.
It's them pushing so tokens don't get totally out of control and limited.
Yeah, it's still 4 mana. It's poopy.
Yeah.
Alright, here's a card I really like. Borderland Marauder. 1 and a red for a 1/2, but whenever it attacks, it gets +2/+0. A virtual 3/2 for 2 mana. I don't like it. It's not going to block much, but why would you be blocking with this creature when you definitely want to attack with it?
I think in the aggro deck, and let's face it, that's what red wants to be. You're not blocking, you're swinging, and I draw kind of a correlation to Kragma Butcher.
Yep.
Without having to have the untap to get inspired. And
Just
it's on curve in that deck.
So good.
Yeah, no, I like it a whole bunch. This is one of the ones I hadn't seen before tonight, so...
Well, I'm glad we got to share this moment together.
And the art is a lady with an eye patch holding an axe, so it's obviously awesome.
Right, who doesn't like that? Oh my god, I just refreshed. Guess what's getting reprinted? Holy shit.
What?
Court of Calling.
Oh, seriously? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
oh
read
my god.
I had read that was one of the rumored cards because of Convoke.
Yeah.
So
wow.
that's going to be something.
Guess who's buying a box? Nope, it's a rare.
Oh, they left it at rare. Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, you can't really argue with that.
Alright, heard it here first on the Pauper Show, folks.
Or you saw it on MTG Salvation like 20 minutes ago.
Right. Or you're going, guys, can't you release your podcast? Is this a podcast? Not really. Your video sooner? Psh, losers. Anyway, let's look at what happens next after Borderland Marauder. Not Minotaur. Something that I'm having a hard time putting my head around. Chrono Stutter. 5 in a blue instant. I'm assuming since it's 6 mana in blue, it's going to win me the game or draw me like 20 cards, right? Let's look at what it does. Put target creature into owner's library second from the top. What a pile of crap.
What I don't understand, I don't like the casting cost. I love the first part of the effect, but isn't it just so much more effective, Chittering Rat style?
Yeah, either right. Top. Screw their draw, but because you let them draw fresh next turn, yeah, either screw their draw or put it on bottom.
Who knows what they have on top of the deck?
Right. They could have something way better.
It's so much better knowing.
Right. I agree. This is no one's going to play this. No. Anyway. No. Let's see. What's next? I like this card too. Krinko's Enforcer. 1 red. Goblin 2/2, but it has Intimidate. It's cool, but is it enough?
I think this is our replacement Blade Tusk 4.
Oh.
I don't think they're doing Blade Tusk 4 again. And this is the new version. And did we play Blade Tusk 4? I know it was 1 more mana, but you got a 3/2 out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, and I haven't seen it in forever. I mean, if we did, I don't even remember it.
And like mono red, you're going to play Kragma Butchers. You're going to play the guy that was in the slide deck at the 3 slot. And I like Intimidate, but I like having more power.
Right, there's the Unleash that'll get you a 3/4.
Yeah.
3 mana? Yeah.
Yeah, or Splatter Thug.
Yeah. The one that gets you First Strike 3/3. Yeah.
So I mean,
that's better.
There's just so much more powerful options in that spot. So.
But I wonder. I mean, those are everything we named is rotating.
Well, the ones I named were all Theros block, I thought.
Yeah. Which one? I guess the Kragmas. Yeah, those Minotaurs are. They're staying in.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, let's leave them. They're good.
They're good. They're good people.
Yeah, they're good people. Intimidate's cool, but... but not good enough. No. If he was red, then we'd be talking. But he's not.
Or just 1 red.
That's probably asking too much for red, though.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of asking too much, Nimbus of the Isles, 4 in a blue. Is this a reprint from Avacyn? Or Innistrad? I think it is. But anyway, it's a 3/3 flyer for 5 mana. No.
I mean, okay, my question is Air Elemental. Why did they think that's too powerful for
common?
for common? I don't understand. I mean,
I don't know. Is it a 4/3 for 4?
It's 3 and 2 blue. It's 3 blue for a 4/4 flyer.
Oh, 4/4 flyer, yeah. But that's a 4/4 flyer. That's appropriate mana. But yeah, this is not enough for 5 mana. Oh my god, not even close.
It's going to be the top of your curve, and it's just a flying generic creature. It's not. It's not what you want to do. I'd rather pay 1 more mana and play Rise of Eagles and Scry and all of that good stuff.
You get 2 2/2s. Yeah, I don't know. This is not going to see play in Standard Pauper.
Or anywhere. It'll be the first card out of limited decks.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. You know what's going on next? There's a card that it kind of pisses me off. Because what I want is Elvish Visionary. But what we get is Shaman of the Spring, which is a striped bear. 3 and a green. Elf Shaman. When Shaman of Spring enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's a 2/2 for 4 mana. I want to rip it up.
I want to play it and draw a card off of it.
But for 4 mana? Really?
I want to draw a card when I play a creature.
Yeah, but only get a 2/2.
My thing is, I think it would be a lot more attractive if it was a 3/3.
Oh, yeah.
2/3. But I could see turn 1 land dork, turn 2 Elfmer.
Okay.
Ramp into this turn 3, make it a little more palatable, draw a card, gain a little advantage. I'm not saying that anybody's ever going to do that.
Right, but that's all you'd be doing. You wouldn't be attacking for like 4 turns.
Every now and again, I kind of want to drive to Renton and go, give us back our Elvish Visionaries.
Seriously.
Please.
Well,
Please. Give
it
us
was
back.
just in.
It's such a simple, pretty, nice design, and we don't get that anymore. But yeah, no, I think it's not going to have any impact anywhere, really. So
no, it's not enough.
Nope.
Not enough. We demand more. All right. Here's another one. Fester Gloom. 2 and a black for sorcery. Non-black creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn. Usually the ones that do this affect all creatures, but what you get is the black version of Holy Light.
Or it's a conditional shrivel for 1 more mana.
Right. Well, Holy Light was 2 and a white. And all non-white creatures get -1/-1.
Wasn't Holy Light an instant?
Yeah, this is sorcery.
Yeah, so all the way around. I mean, it fills a role, but it's not the most attractive version of it.
No, it's another anti-token card. Excuse me.
While Electrolyze is around, I don't think you could really play it.
You mean like Trickery?
Trickery.
Electrolyze is around?
I'm sorry, I cited a much more powerful card than Electrickery.
Yeah. Electrolyze is badass.
Electrolyze, you kind of want to rub your mustache on its mustache.
I want it to tickle my cheek.
I do. It's pretty. It's a pretty little. Okay. Oh, man.
Okay, next one. Research Assistant. 1 and a blue for a 1/3. But for 3 and a blue, tap, you can draw a card, then discard a card. Did this see any play? It's a looter that cost a crap load.
Why does that card even have an activation cost?
It shouldn't. It should be tapped to do that, but it's not. It's Merfolk Looter, but not as good. I don't even know what to say about it. This was in Innistrad. Let me see. Research System. This is a reprint. I know. Research S. Is it? Uh-oh, maybe it's not.
I think this is a new card.
Oh my god, it's a new card.
So this is what they want looting to look like now.
Oh, cheese and crackers.
Wow.
I thought this was a reprint.
No. So
Wizards.
this
Seriously?
Just go to the Shredder bot. There's a few of them in the trading area. And make these all available for shredding and just get rid of them.
Because I, for one, can't stand having lands in my inventory on MTGO that I don't like. So whenever I ever come across lands in my travels, I shred them instantly.
Or if Wizards decides to give us another set of lands to make up for people not getting the right lands in their drafts or whatever.
I hate that. I don't want your crappy one of foil planes.
I went and I bought like 20 foil of each lands in sets that I like the art of.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to get them into my deck. All the same lands. That's what I like to do.
Set them, go to Shredder. That's what I said about mine too.
And so, Research Assistant, shred them. Don't play them, guys. Come on.
Don't let Wizards treat us like this.
No, don't let them win. You
are better than that.
It was a free effect, just 2 years ago, guys. Come on.
You deserve to be treated like the strong, confident women you are.
Yes.
And you do not need this bullcrap in your life.
No.
This should be free.
You deserve better. You deserve to be loved.
Exactly.
Yes. So.
Well.
Tyrant's Machine. It's a common. Artifact. Cost 2. 4. Tap. And you tap target creature. An artifact tapper at common. Has this ever happened before?
I don't think so. Not to tap a creature like this every turn.
Right.
No, it just seems like something they don't let happen at common.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, could we call this, I know I'm being bold here, could we call this basically the common shackles? Because if
common icy?
Icy Manipulator, that's another good one. Because if you're doing it at the beginning of their turn, and you're just keeping their biggest thing locked down, I mean, even if they destroy it, it's still locked down for that turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It feels good. I mean, and it's not costed insanely.
No, 4? I mean, it only costs 2 to get out there and 4 to tap. I don't know. This may do something. It may not be just limited fodder. As I know Limited loves them some tappers.
Just that feeling that, hey, I'm going to keep your stuff on lockdown against a lot of decks. I mean, I'm not going to be insane and say I could see playing Classic Pauper, but I mean, they're playing Serrated Arrows. You only get to use that 3 times.
That's true.
So,
I think this is a very interesting common artifact. They usually give us such crap, like this Bronze Sable. Whoop-de shit. You know what I mean?
Or Tumble Magnet.
You can...
That taps an artifact or a creature for 3 mana and it doesn't act. You don't pay to activate it. We only get to use it 3 times.
That's true.
And that's the only thing that's similar.
Right, in that you have to basically have a Glint Hawk to make that work further than it's 3 times. But anyway, alright, I like it. I don't know where I'd put it right now, but I'm keeping my eye out on this. And actually, we'll kind of talk about this more in a little bit. Because we have some things to really discuss later on that Wizards seems to have tried to sweep under the rug. But didn't get past our keen senses. Not that they put keen sense in this set, I'm just saying. Alright, next one. Will Forged Golem. 6 to cast. Artifact Creature Golem. With Convoke, it's a 4/4. It's sort of like Mere Enforcer. Now, I'm not saying it's as easy to cast, but is this the first Convoke artifact? Do you know of any others? I don't know of any.
I think there might be a few. No, wow. I'll look it up. But it feels like it's artifact. It's got affinity for creatures, is how I look at it.
Oh, that's true. It's interesting in that if you have enough creatures, you could be giving yourself a 4/4 in exchange for the devotion or the convocation of some of your weenie creatures that are out there on the field.
And Ornithopter's back as a common.
Ornithopter's common? No.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it is.
No, really? No.
Yeah. I was thinking it was. I was thinking it's finally back to common.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying that you're going to drop 3 Ornithopters on turn 1 and power this dude out, but I mean...
No way. I'm going to be Ornithopting like a mofo. Actually, I don't know what I would put. What would that be good for? Ornithopter now? I guess to bestow upon?
That enchantment at uncommon?
Which one is that? The Gather Courage or whatever?
No, the enchantment, the one that turns artifact into base 5/5.
Oh,
loading ready run spoiled.
Yeah. That's true. That's kind of it. I guess you could do that. Why not? Most people are going to try to put it on the Dark Steel.
The Citadel? Yeah.
Alright. Well, that's interesting.
No, there's no other... I went to gather... There's no other artifact with Convoke.
Huh.
So they did something completely new here.
At common,
At common. Yeah.
Now, I know Mark Rosewater said if you want to have something in your set, it had better work at common. They really tried to do this hardcore. Look at, this is another artifact. Something's going on here.
Yeah. There's echoes of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Next one. Vine Weft. 1 green. Enchantment Aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1. It's about as minimal for 1 green as you can get, but there is something different. You can return it from the graveyard to your hand for 5 mana.
Look, it's a fixed horrible Rancor.
No, that's not fixed. That's,
Fixed and horrible. Fixed and horrible. Just shred them.
I would rather have Rancor with the recover mechanic than this.
I'd rather just play another creature in the slot.
Amen. Yep, I don't see this as anything close to being worthwhile.
No.
Oh well.
No, not for 5 mana. No.
Alright, here's another one. Undergrowth Scavenger. 3 and a green for a fungus horror. It's weird. Undergrowth Scavenger enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on equal to the creatures in all graveyards. On turn 4, he's going to be a 0/0.
Wait, no. There's 2 different black cards that put creatures into your graveyard in M15. That put, not creatures, but the top of your library and stuff. Yeah, so I mean, there's a possibility that there's something there.
So for my 4 mana, I'm just going to cast a 4 mana creature. That's at 4/4, a 3/3, a 2/4, something. I'm not going to hope that there are creatures in the graveyard. I mean, yes, there's a potential at end game. This guy is ridiculous, but you really got to work for it to make that happen. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this thing.
I'm gonna try it out. I mean, we've got Insight at 3. Mm-hmm. We've got the black dude at 2. That's an M15. So I mean, there's definitely there's something there that they're trying to do. So on the other hand, he's really weak to removal and doesn't have trample.
Right. No trample.
That lack of trample. Yeah. Hurts.
Well, and I think that there's an uncommon that I really like. It's every turn you take a damage, you get a 1/1 token at the end of turn.
Yeah.
That guy. That's a neat little enchantment. All right, let's look at the next one. Carnivorous Moss Beast. Carnivorous Moss Beast is 4 double green, so 6. What do you get for this 6? You get a 4/5. But wait, there's more. This plant elemental beast. Wow, that's a lot to put in there. He gives himself 1/1 counters, so he sort of has monstrous. He has his own mini monstrous.
But the common monstrous dudes were so much better than this.
Yeah, for this amount, I'm putting my Snake of the Golden Grove to give me a tribute, or I'm putting in the Nessian Asp. Yeah, not worth it.
I mean, isn't the Nessian Asp both cheaper to cast and cheaper to monstrous?
Nessian Asp is 5 and 6. Yep. Oh my god.
So this card is just like automatically worse than.
And yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
And Nessian Asp has reach.
Yes. It's bad.
Yeah. So no, it's not even a comparison. Play Asp. It's not. Don't play the Moss Beast.
Yeah, I'm not putting this in my deck.
No.
Plant elemental beast. Okay, here's something weird. Living totem, 3 and a green. Plant elemental, convoke. Alright. When living totem enters the battlefield, you may put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature. He's a 2/3.
That clause makes him.
Yeah, the other. Had he been able to put on any, then you could bring him out as a 3/4, and you're kind of happy about that.
Not only that, but you could power him out like a turn or two early.
I know, you get convoke. You're doing pretty good. Although
they didn't want him to be too strong in draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although at 1 mana, what are you using to your convoke? You're using your Elvish Mystic, which you could have just used for the mana anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, but I like the art on it. He's gonna mess up some elves.
Yeah, no, they're convoking him.
Are they? Oh, well then I'm less.
See how there are 4 elves and he costs 4?
Brennan.
See what they did there?
Mind blown.
They gave you a visual example of what convoke is.
That is awesome.
Boom.
Boom.
Alright, let's move on. Netcast Spider, 2 and a green. Spider with reach. What is he? A 2/3. Okay. Okay. What else does he get? This is, I think, really cool. Whenever Netcaster Spider blocks a creature with flying, it gets +2/+0. So it's a 4/3 if it blocks a flyer. Oh my. Talk about something to sideboard in against Flyers decks.
This is our replacement for Deadly Recluse.
Yeah. Oh, is he not in this set?
No, and I have to say, for a replacement, he feels really similar. He's 1 mana more, but a 4/3 is going to knock most things out of the air pretty reliably.
Oh yeah. No, it's
so, and he might even survive combat, which the Deadly Recluse really never does.
Right, that's true. He defeats a Nephalia Sea Kite.
Yeah, and he defeats all of the wing drake variants.
That's true.
And he kills Vaporkin and the Hawk. I kind of like Netcaster. He's a solid role player. So
yeah. I agree. See how he's beating the crap out of a Pegasus right up in there?
Which is appropriate, because he has a spider and Pegasus suck.
Are you Pegasus?
This.
Okay, let's look at the next one. I like Netcaster Spider too. Hammerhand. Yeah. Could you get any more literal visual than a hand? I mean, only if it had some tines on it to pull out nails would this look more like a hammer. Anyway, it's Hammerhand. It's 1 red. Enchantment. Enchant creature. When Hammerhand enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. Okay, interesting. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. That is 3 things they put on a single red mana enchantment. That's pretty impressive.
I I mean, I know we talked about Standard Pauper, but I want to drop this on an Ulmog's Crusher in my Tron deck so bad.
Oh my god.
Oh god, I just want to do that. I just want to do that so bad. 9 damage, 2 Annihilator, haste. It just feels dirty and right at the same time.
Right.
So
The only
expect for me to try to do that.
the only drawback to that scenario that you did is that you have to make a specific creature not block before Annihilator hits. You know what I'm saying?
Which is less useful because you'd rather have them try to block the Crusher, so it's more effective after the Annihilator happens, but still, I mean, I think that's quite good. And I think, Dan he was playing Mono Black Control in Classic Pauper, but he's basically playing that red deck that was basically a standard deck.
Yeah.
For the most part, Standard Pauper deck, and I think Hammerhand would fit really nicely into that type of deck. So I think it's actually going to see some play. It has a lot of stuff going for it for a common. So.
Right, a common single red, and like I said, you get 3 separate. It does 3 different things.
Yeah.
Causes a creature to not block, gives a creature haste, and the +1/+1 sticks around.
Yeah.
It's not irrelevant.
No.
This will be played in Standard Pauper.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No doubt.
No, not at all. And where do they find the artist? Toaz
Zedruzrik? I can't pronounce your name, Toaz.
It's the New World Order of Art.
Hard to pronounce names. Although, if you look on the card, it's something different. Like, I think this was copied wrong. It's Tomaz. I'm missing an
Tomaz?
Yeah, it's Tomaz.
Tomaz, that's nice. I like that. I'm going to name my next kid Tomaz.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
No.
No.
Okay. Here's another thing, and I want to talk a little bit extra about this one for very specific reasons. Scrapyard Mongrel, 3 and a red, creature hound. As long as you control an artifact, Scrapyard Mongrel gets +2/+0 and has trample. As long as you control a single artifact, he becomes a Juggernaut. That's crazy. Actually, he's better than a Juggernaut because he doesn't have to attack each turn. But let's talk about this right here and now. This is something that Wizards slipped under the rug. They said, oh, hey, everybody, look at Convoke. Convoke is so awesome. We're bringing it back. We're bringing you new cards with Convoke. And everybody's like, yay, Convoke. But there are a bunch of cards that have this mini metalcraft attached to it. That should tell us something, folks. They want us to not pay attention to this until September. So, we have this mini metalcraft feature. Sam, what do you see in the future for this particular type of mechanic?
It feels like it's alright. When M13 came out, it had Farseek, and that was kind of the tip-off that the shocks were going to be back. Mm-hmm. And I think these little clues, and there's a blue card that we'll get to in a little bit that has not as impressive an effect as this, but I think there's signs of these things to come. And Con seems like it could easily be maybe not specifically an artifact theme set, but definitely like maybe an equipment theme set. And I think these little hints point towards that. And this card isn't bad at all. It can be blocked by walls though. So Juggernaut 1, this card 0.
But it has some trample. It can get beat up some walls.
Yeah, no, trample is awesome. I mean, it's just a great little ability for free.
Right.
And I mean, I wouldn't turn this card down. I would actually build decks to make this good. So yeah, no, I like this card. I like the idea behind it, and it makes me a little optimistic for cons because we don't know much about cons at this point. So
right, I have some wild ass speculations about cons, but I don't know if this is the appropriate place for them. But still, look at this compared to Court Homunculus. That only gave a +1/+1 if you had another artifact. Metalcraft required 3 artifacts to give something like, what's that? Auriok Sunchaser.
Yeah, the Sunchaser.
Sunchaser got +2/+2 in flying. This gets +2/+0 in trample. That is really close. I know there's more evasion, but still, it's very, very similar and takes less effort.
The trample is a form of evasion, and really it's kind of the red version. So, in a lot of ways, though, flying keeps creatures out of combat a lot of the times, but trample puts your opponent's creatures right in the way a lot of the time, and I like it. I mean, I think this is a solid little card.
Too.
And yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited about the foreshadowing. I'm excited about the fact that it's a great little card. I'm not that in love with the art.
It's a little goofy, but
It's kind of goofy.
Maybe they'll make
That's
a
okay.
special edition foil of it.
Ooh, foil. Gonna get me some of those.
I figured. Alright, let's move on. Crowd's Favor. Red. For 1 red. Instant Convoke. Target creature gets +1/+0 and first strike. Combat trick extraordinaire. This is like the Red Gather Courage, is what this is.
This is a card that they went, we should have put this in Theros block, but we wanted to give it Convoke. And look at the art.
Yeah, it's Theros.
It's a Theros block card.
Right.
But no, I like it. I mean, I don't know how it stands up against some of the combat tricks from Theros block, because they were so strong. But I could see it slotting into maybe that mono red heroic deck that you really want to have work. Not you personally, but people out there. So
Oh yeah, I just throw it on the ground.
yeah, you just throw it on the ground and walk away.
I do.
You're like, I do not need the favor of the crowd. I need hammer hand.
Hammerhand. Yes, I want more Hammerhand.
All the hammer hand.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Returning Forge Devil. 1 red. When it enters the battlefield, does 1 damage to creature, 1 damage to you. I know this saw play back when it was in Innistrad block and Standard Pauper. I wonder if it is enough to kill it now, because what I see is this is the heroic card. So you have your 1/1 heroic flyer up in the air saying, hey, look at me, I'm about to get awesome. And you go, nope, I'm going to play this ridiculous little 1/1 creature that'll do 1 damage to you.
And me.
And me. But really, I'm willing to take 1 damage to get that crazy thing out of the air.
I mean, I like it. I wasn't playing online when Innistrad came out, so I didn't get to experience Standard Pauper at that time. I mean, I could see this being a really strong anti-Delver card.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but Delver's not around. But I mean, it's definitely a utility card, and it could be useful. It does shoot down Skyguards really, really well.
Oh yeah.
At least it slows your opponent down, so it's a good tempo playing going into games 2 and 3. I like it. I mean, it's a good reprint. It's not like they scraped the bottom of the barrel to get good reprints in this set, it seems. So, I like it. It could see some good play. So
yeah, I think so, especially a sideboard against other weenie decks. So yeah, cool.
And there's that possibility that there's going to be that weenie theme going into cons.
Yep. I think that's more than a possibility. Okay.
Hordes
of weenies. Oh, that's weird. I don't want to say that.
Wow.
I got uncomfortable just now.
Yes, I got a little afraid.
All right. Blastfire Bolt. 5 and a red. Instant. That's 6 mana for those counting at home. Blastfire Bolt deals 5 damage to target creature for 6 mana. Okay. Destroy all equipment attached to that creature. Considering there's not a lot of equipment there's only a couple in M15. That tells me another thing that we talked about earlier. There's going to be artifacts a-coming.
Yeah, it just feels like they wouldn't print this before doing a set heavy on equipment. And it's not really costed to play in a lot of constructed. But it's not bad. It's not a horribly bad card. I wish it was 5 mana instead of 6, but you're paying an extra mana over the Slag card from Mirrodin, OG Mirrodin block.
Right.
Turn to Slag, yeah, that's it. At 5 damage to a creature, just as it is, you're going to feel kind of gross playing 6 for it, but you're going to do it if you need to, so... It's Sip of Hemlock, but at instant speed. And in red.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, this is a thinker. It probably won't see much play because it's really slow.
Right.
But I think
it's a very limited card.
Yeah, it probably is. It's probably just gonna be the last card into a deck a lot of the time. So
23rd card.
Yeah.
If you are hurting for a removal, you'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm sure limited resources will like it because of the 5 damage, but...
Yeah. And Loading Ready Run will draft a lot of them because they'll just be wacky. And Canadian.
They love that kind of stuff.
They do.
Those Canadians.
They're grid people.
Alright, here's one of my favorite cards of the set. Generator Servant. He's a servant generator. Down and out now. He's a elemental. Tap, sacrifice. Generator Servant. Add 2 mana to your mana pool. If that mana is spent on a creature, it gains haste until end of turn. That is very cool because this is ramp in red and it gets haste.
Not only that, no clause to say that you only have to spend it on creatures.
Yep.
Which is awesome. It's a 2/1 for 2, which red is known to play. So if you draw it late game, it's not entirely dead based off of being like a 1/1. And that ability to power out bigger stuff and give it haste. This is one of those kind of total package, I can't believe it's a common cards.
Right. They made the shamans in Ravnica Block. Those little things do give you 2 mana instantly that you have to spend right away. But they were uncommon. What are those things called?
Burning
Tree Emissary.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, those things. Yeah, this will be an interesting ramp card. You don't have to ramp with it, but if you do, especially like you said, late game when you're trying to cast your big creatures anyway, power it out and it gets haste. You're attacking right away. It's pretty cool.
And I can see this. This is going to probably see play in Pauper. It's probably going to maybe even see play in the Silver Black League. It's going to see play in Standard. I don't doubt that because it's just too good of an effect.
Right.
For people not to try to get in there. I think they really did a good job on this particular card. And I'm not living in Magic Fairyland either. It just seems like it's a really decent card.
Right. No,
so,
I agree. It's all around. They even did a highlight on the mothership about this card. It was the one spoiled on Canada Day, and they wrote up a whole article about it. So obviously they see something in it. Oh yeah, no, and I'm excited to try it out, especially since I won't forget that it gave my creature haste in paper. Magic will remind me. Awesome.
So, yep.
Okay, let's look. What do we got next? Unmake the Graves. 4 and a black. Instant Convoke. Return up to 2 target creature cards from the graveyard to your hand. I am feeling that if you are convoking this, you're not really hurting for creatures. So 5 mana seems a lot for return 2 creatures. But it's playable, but I think we have some better options. March of the Return is 4 mana, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Fond of the Return is 1 mana more, all told.
Yeah.
But it gets you 1 more creature, and I'd rather pay one more mana and get that one extra creature.
It seems beneficial.
Yeah. So even like if you convoke this, like you're getting creatures back from your yard stating that you have less in play. So you're probably not going to really get a big discount on this guy.
Right.
I just don't think it works.
I guess it is instant. What's March the Returned? Let's look that bad.
It's the sorcery.
Sorcery? Okay.
Yeah, it's a sorcery.
I guess that's what you're paying for. The one more mana for instant.
Yeah. They don't do instant this type of effect very often. So I guess tapping
at the end of someone's turn.
Exactly,
Okay.
is kind of beneficial. It gives you fuel for the next turn. So yeah, this is going to be something that people definitely try out. So, including myself and that green black mill, big green dude deck.
All right. Okay. Pretty good. Let's see what we got next. Carrion Crow.
No, wait.
What do you have?
I have Capture Statute of Denial next, and then Carrion Crow.
Yeah, I switched them to where all the black were together.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll do Carrion Crow.
Carrion Crow, 2 in black. Zombie Bird. Flying. Carrion Crow enters the battlefield tapped. It's a flying 2/2 for 3 in black. I don't know why, but I really like this card. I mean, if I'm playing flyers, I'm probably playing blue anyway, but still, for some reason, this card intrigues me. And I'm trying to figure out what other... I do not believe we have any other 2/2s in black flying with less of a drawback.
I mean, my question is why does it enter the battlefield tapped?
Because it's eating corpses, dude.
But it doesn't have any effect on corpses or graveyards or anything.
I know, but it's...
Why can't it just say cannot block?
They don't want to do that. Because it's sort of a drawback, but it's only a drawback for one turn. Whereas cannot block is a drawback forever.
Permanently, yeah. And it is a core set, so they don't get too crazy on that, typically.
Right.
Okay, I've got Gatherer up. I'm looking at flying creatures in black.
Yeah, 2/2 flyers for 3. See how many of those there are.
I
think is I don't even know if is Rakdos, that Rakdos weird thing from what's its nuts?
Defense pet Strike black. Rakdos Strike is a 2/3, but it can't block.
Okay. Then who cares about the 3?
Yeah, who cares about the 3? My overton comments, there's just not a lot of black flying. Driver Drone Imp, Basilisk Creature, Blood Toll Harpy is the one that's going to be around the longest, and that's a 2/1 flying that causes each player to lose a life.
Yep.
It's definitely curved out better. No, I mean, it's not a bad card. I just don't like things that enter the battlefield tapped.
Right, me either, but if I'm playing this in black, odds are I don't know, am I doing it for a blocker or am I doing it for an attacker?
You're doing it for an attacker.
So I'm not really worried about it being tapped that first turn.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I like it. And it says, when carrion feeds on a carrion, dark days approach.
It is good with Bob or Grey Merchant. It's not all that great with Bob. Don't play that in a deck with Bob. They better cards.
You have better options.
No, I mean it's good with Grey Merchant. I mean it does what you would want it to do in a mono black deck. Get an early beats, have a point of extra damage when you play Grey Merchant, and that all helps. So all in all, it's probably a pretty solid card. So.
Yep, I like it. I do. It's very Innistrad-y.
Yes, it is.
And speaking of Innistrad-y, Eternal Thirst, 1 in a black, enchantment aura. This does quite a bit. Enchanted creature has lifelink, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Not a creature damaged by this creature, it is straight up, when anything dies by an opponent, you put a 1/1 counter on the enchanted creature. I find that interesting.
I think, I like it. I like it a whole bunch. I think it's going to see play. I think it booster. It really. I mean, just that on the Carrion Crow.
Right.
I mean, it's just makes it a 2/2 lifelinker. The first turn it can attack.
Yeah.
And then you're running black, so you're going to have probably some of the best removal in the format already, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good.
I do too. The only thing I don't like is the fact that the picture is clearly something enchanted to fly. This does not go flying.
You don't think those are her real wings?
No, I think...
No, they look all mechanical and stuff. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think it's an intriguing card. What was the black enchantment that Hexproof was running?
Oh, the Gift of the Orzhova?
That and the one that was 4 mana, straight black, gave +2/+2, and lifelink.
Yeah, the Vampire's Kiss? No.
Something along those lines. And
yeah.
I mean, Hexproof was happy to run that card, and this one seems to be way better in the long game and the short game. Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's I've been pretty impressed with all of the new cards in M15, and that one doesn't really let me down at all. So
yeah, I think it has legs.
Yeah, I think it's gonna show up. Be ready.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, next one. Statute of Denial. 2 blue counter target spell. If you control a blue creature, draw a card, then discard a card. I want to give a hearty thumbs up, thumbs not up, thumbs down, middle fingers up to Wizard.
Yeah.
Seriously, we can't have Dismiss. Dismiss just too much for us.
Did you notice that Essence Scatter didn't get reprinted?
Yeah.
And this is in its slot, effectively.
God, this is awful.
Why can't it just be draw a card?
Yeah, I know. There's plenty of awesome. It would make it awesome if it drew a card. It would be. You've already
put a conditional thing on there.
Right. So
you have to have a blue creature.
Not a blue permanent.
It's already conditional.
Not a blue permanent. You have to have a blue creature, and you don't get to draw a card. You get to loot.
Yeah. You get to loot one card. So if you're playing this is your last card in hand.
Yep.
And at 4 mana, it's more likely. This feels gross. This card just feels. And I love counter spells. I will play with bad counter spells all day, and I cannot imagine playing with this card. Just cannot. Not even in limited. This just seems.
Right.
I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't either. Why can't we have Dismiss? And there's a couple others. There was that crappy counter target creature spell, draw a card, Bone Dash. That's the one.
Yeah, but it was 5 mana, but you just drew a card.
Yeah.
You just drew your card.
Ugh.
So
it's crappy. I don't want to look at this card anymore.
Not good.
You had an opportunity, Wizard. You threw it away.
Yeah. You just wasted it.
Here's another one that, by itself, it's good. Invisibility. It's 2 blue, enchanted creature, can't be blocked except by walls. It's good unless in the exact same format, at the exact same time, you have Aqua's Form.
Right. And Aqua's Form, Scry 1.
Right.
You're going to run that so much more. You're going
to throw this on the ground and say, oh, I'm sorry, found an Aqua's Form in its place.
Funny thing about Invisibility, last time it was reprinted was 8th edition, and it was an uncommon.
Dang.
But it was a common in every other setting. It was an Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and 8th edition, and it was common all the other times. So somebody in 8th edition went, oh, Invisibility? Too strong for common.
Way too strong.
Way too strong. But the dude's sneaking past some goblins in the art, so that's pretty cool. So, but no, I don't know. I mean, that's the second card that's referenced walls.
That's true. There must be a lot
There's-
of walls coming up.
Yeah. There's no real walls in M15, so...
Wall of Fire, dude. Wall of Fire.
And there's the
First one previewed.
the green wall that you sacrifice. Wall of mulch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
so
I wish was common.
Yeah, which I wish was common because I would build a wall of mulch deck. I love that card. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not seeing anybody really playing that when you can just farm something up and start scrying.
Right. Alright, next one, Mind Sculpt. It's back. One in a blue. Target opponent puts top 7 cards in his or her library into the graveyard. Mill 7.
Yeah, I think they should just change the name to Living Guild Pact and then leave everything else the same.
Living Guild Pack.
Living Guild Pact.
Blah. Planeswalker I don't want.
No, it didn't. Even with Demiri Mill running rampant in Standard Pauper, nobody's running Mind Sculpt in there. It's not grindy enough.
Right.
And with that leaving, and there not really seeming to be like there's a whole lot of support for Mill going forward, I don't really see this getting a lot of play. I will say, for 2 mana, taking 7 cards away from your opponent can feel pretty gross for them. I mean, because that's like a hand.
Yeah, Glimpse the Unthinkable is 10.
Yeah. I mean, having a large percentage of cards that you would rather draw in your yard. But I mean, nobody's really going to do that, I don't think, right now. So
I don't think so either. Alright, another one that I think is cool. Glacial Crasher. 4 blue. It's a lot of mana. Creature, elemental. It has trample, but it can't attack unless there is a mountain on the battlefield. It's a weird little drawback, but it's a 5/5 with trample in blue.
Dan had sent me an email and he was like, I like that glacial dude. He's like,
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And I think he might have been kind of going, I'm looking to draft those highly in M15 draft, but
Right.
it just seems really kind of top of the curve and a color that doesn't really go to the top of the curve like that.
Yeah, I agree. But what's strange, give me the only other 5/5 blue trampler. Do you know what it is?
No.
Bringer of the Blue Dawn.
Seriously?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
A rare from Brennon Block?
Yeah. Now, granted, this card doesn't let you draw 2 cards at the beginning of your upkeep, like the Bringer does. But yeah, 5/5 Trampler, Bringer. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, no. It feels like it should be a green card. And in every conceivable way. Green plays nicer with red. Green likes trample 5/5s. Green doesn't mind 6 casting cost creatures.
Right.
But no, I mean, it's interesting for blue to have access to something like this. I don't know where it fits in constructed.
Yeah. I don't think it will. I can't imagine a deck. If you're running blue, you're not going for blue for the beats.
Aren't you going, oh, look, I'm at 6 mana, I'm going to drop 3 Welkin turns, or I'm going to drop 2 Wing Drake variants.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, or I'm not evoking. I'm bestowing this thing on that thing and that thing, so whatever, I can swing in for a bunch. So yeah, no, I don't think it's really going to go anywhere.
Right.
It is an elemental. No.
It is?
Yeah, there's an elemental sub-theme.
That
A
is
whole bunch
true.
of the cards.
I didn't think about that. But
Yeah,
there are
a whole
lots
bunch of the cards we've covered are elementals.
Okay, I
So,
want to give you my theory. This whole Sarkon Vol block is what we're kind of basing this around. His whole deal was he loved him some dragons. He went looking for dragons. I am going to posit to you that there are no more dragons on this plane. Even though we've seen some pictures of dragons, I think all dragons on this plane are going to be elementals or constructs.
Yeah. I think you had posited that in an email, like at the end of last week,
Yep.
that they're going to be like dragon imposters.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And that's really interesting, actually. That this means Sarkin still doesn't get his dragons.
No, but he's getting facsimiles thereof, though.
Yeah. And really, I mean, he's a bad guy, right? Do we really care that he doesn't get his dragons?
Maybe he's good now. He did help with Johnny by killing him into a volcano. He helped him real good.
That doesn't sound like that's helpful.
He goes, "Oh, you have a spark you haven't lit yet." Johnny's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, here, jump into this." "What do you mean jump into this? Here, let me help you."
Yeah, but then Johnny let Elspeth die.
Yeah,
So,
but he did get a cool free cloak out of it. Lols.
I would have bought him a cloak. I have extra cloaks.
You do?
No. I LARP on the weekends.
Oh, yeah. I don't
LARP.
I don't even have a cloak. Alright, here's another one. Aeronaut Tinkerer. 2 and a blue.
Here, give me a second. Okay. Remember my slideshow's a little jumped around.
Oh, that's right, sorry. I'll talk,
No, it's okay.
I'll talk slow. Aeronaut Tinkerer has flying.
I got there.
Okay. As long as you control an artifact. 2/3. Alright. 2 and a blue for a 2/3 not flyer. I'm not a fan of that cost.
No.
Because I can get a 2/2 flyer every day in blue.
Right.
With no, that's what it is. It's a 2/2 flyer for 3.
But as a mini Metalcraft card...
It is?
Yeah.
It is a mini Metalcraft.
Yeah. So this is the blue example of the mini Metalcraft, and I mean, I think, again, that kind of foreshadowing of what may be coming up here, I like it. I mean, I like blue effective creatures, and I think turn 1 thing, maybe a cheap artifact on turn 2, this guy on turn 3. I mean, I think you feel pretty good about that a lot of the time, so...
Yeah, it is good, but am I playing this over my Windrakes that I know will have flying all the time?
Oh, no.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Nope. Okay.
No way.
Love me some Windrakes.
Yeah.
Loves me some Visions Windrakes. I love that card.
Oh, yeah, that's the best art that I'd ever seen. It's the only time I feel good getting beat by blue skies is when you beat me with those Windrakes.
Those are awesome looking.
They're so pretty.
They are. Alright, here's another one. Amphin, not amphibian, Amphin Pathmage. Salamander Wizard. There is another salamander creature out there that's not walks on all fours. I looked it up because I was curious. Check this guy out. For 3 and a blue, you get a 3/2. That's a little too much. But for 2 and a blue, target creature can't be blocked this turn. That is not a tap ability. That is just straight up 2 and a blue, target creature can't be blocked. How about them apples?
I mean, it's interesting. I feel like it's probably slanted towards limited.
It is.
But I just because in limited it's a beast.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do like the effect of being able. I mean, for 1 more mana, you get invisibility on however many creatures you want without having to commit an enchantment onto them, setting up that 2-for-1 action. So,
that is
I like it. I mean, and it holds its own in combat a lot of the time. So yeah, no, it's interesting as all get out. So.
Yep. So anyway, I thought it was a pretty cool little card, but again, it's probably geared more towards limited. But you never know.
No, I mean, a lot of what works in limited really well does translate to Standard Pauper really, really well too. So
maybe we'll see it. Maybe someone will come up with.
Oh no! Wait a second. I'm gonna Path Mage my Glacial guy.
So you get in for the 5/5.
So I get the full 5/5 as long as there's a mountain in play.
Right, and it has to be a mountain. Yeah.
A mountain, yes. I'll play 20 mountains just to do it.
Just to do it. Just once.
Just once. Live the dream.
Alright, what's the next one? Sanctified Charge. 4 and a white. Instant. Creatures, I forgot an S. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. White creatures you control also get first strike until end of turn. That is a lot of mana.
It is, but game finisher.
Yeah?
Game finisher. This has that like game finishing quality written all over it. I mean, your 3 creatures on board, they're all 2/2s. They suddenly become 4/4s at turn 5. I mean, and it's an instant, so you can actually play it as like a combat trick.
Yeah?
In my scenario, it's the same amount as a lava axe, and you get 1 more damage from it. Is it the best version of this card? Probably not, but it's still. I mean, I think it's interesting. I don't know where it's gonna get played though, because the heroic decks are more about the 1 and 2 casting cost tricks that leave behind a counter.
Right.
And this isn't that.
Yeah, this does not target.
No.
And that is anti-synergy.
Yeah,
It's
not where they're building towards.
All right.
But and the kind of the idea of the hordes coming soon.
Right, and that I think this is going to really look more towards cons than anything else.
Yeah.
So, okay. There you go. Here's another one. I'm on the fence about this one. Sungrace Pegasus. 1 and a white. Creature Pegasus. Flying Lifelink. Interesting. It's a 1/2 flyer for 1 and a white with lifelink. I want this card to be awesome because it has so much potential. I'm just looking at it going, so close, but if it was 2/1, I'd feel better.
I think it wears pants really good.
It does wear some pants.
And just as it is, it's kind of like pretty much right on curve for where you would want it.
Right. If you're playing red-white and you just hammer-handed this, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Right now, the white wine deck that Gazzo plays in the Standard Pauper Challenge, they're running that kind of dorky
Concordia
thing right now. Yeah.
That's true.
And this, I think, fills that slot and does basically the same thing. So,
but I thought they were running Concordia for the purpose of blocking opposing 2/2 flyers.
I don't know if they are, if they're doing it to block like 1/1 stuff.
Yeah.
I can't really figure out exactly why they're doing it, because it doesn't seem like that impressive of a card. But like, I don't know. This probably will find a home in that type of weenie deck.
It is only 2 mana.
Yeah. So it's not like it's asking a lot for you to put it in your deck.
That's
and
true.
then the incremental life gain is just nice. Evasion is nice. It's a horrible, like, it's a cool name, and then the art is just a flying horse.
Right.
Kind of dorky. So but no, it'll probably find home in that weenie deck. So
you run this alongside your loyal Pegasus?
Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Turn 3 damage, you gain a life. And then if you're doing any sort of tricks on turn 3, you have 3 mana open.
Right.
So I mean, that's not bad.
That's true. Turn 3, they Farika's Cure your Sungrace Pegasus so you can't attack with your loyal.
And then you just start weeping.
Yeah. Start shedding tears.
Gnashing of teeth, wailing, rending of flesh.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, here's another good card. I like it. Pillar of Light. 2 and a white. Exile target creature with toughness 4 or greater. We've seen this a lot with power, but now we have toughness 4 or greater, and it's exile. It is straight up GTFO.
I mean, what's the version of it that's based around toughness at forecasting cost? I'm trying to find it.
There's Devouring Light, but that's with
Devouring Light,
attacking and blocking.
Yeah. Here, give me a sec. I'm looking it up. I hope it's not too loud. It is storming like crazy outside.
I can hear stuff, but I'm not worried about it.
Well, good. You're in Texas. I'm the one getting stormed on.
Hey, our lakes are so low, it's scary.
Oh, it's not like that up here. Like, we've been having record rainfall.
Wow. Yeah, we have... Yeah. There's a lake near my house called Lake Lavon. I've driven over to go to my parents, 100 times. And right now, on one side of the bridge, it's a frickin' prairie. It used to be a lake.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, it is bad.
Like, last year at this time, we'd seen 2 days with rain, and then since, like, May this year, we've only had, like, 8 days without rain. It has just been insane. Like, we started a backyard garden. It's the worst year for that because it's been impossible to keep up with it.
Right.
Okay, I can't find this card. Let's go. Oh. Let's just go on.
But you know what, though? Anti-walls.
Yes, very anti-walls. It gets rid of Gray Merchants. So good.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Gray Merchant.
I hate me some Gray Merchants. Well, that's not it. Divine Verdict? No, that just gets rid of attacking or blocking.
Right. I can't think of one that's toughness.
I thought there was one. I know Last Breath, but that only costs 2. Yeah, and that gets rid of 2.
But that's power, though.
Yeah, 2 power. That's what I was thinking. Like, I was trying to figure out what the version of that cares about toughness. Yeah. Or power. That cares about power instead.
Yeah, Elspeth. Doesn't she do that? Exile
yes, she does.
Get your 4 power or greater.
I think she gets rid of all of them, actually. And then she died.
Free Cloak.
And then she died.
All right. Next one. Ephemeral Shields. 1 and a white, instant with Convoke. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. That's neat. It's a combat trick if there ever was one. I don't know where it will fit in Standard Pauper, though.
It'll fit right next to Johnny's Presence.
Really?
And decks that want that type of effect. You can cast it for free. I mean,
I guess.
Apostle's Blessing saw play.
Yeah, Apostle's Blessing can get you through blockers, though.
Did you notice there's no protection in the set?
Huh.
Everything, it's all indestructible.
That's true.
Instead.
Weird.
And Reprisal. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, it can't be regenerated.
Is that common?
It's uncommon. It's been common in the past, but not recently. And it's only 2 mana, not 4. So that's kind of the opposite version. I think toughness actually makes it a better card.
Right, but this is only 3 mana.
Only 3. It's only 1 more mana. So no, and it exiles. So I like it. Imperial Shields though, no, I think it's going to be useful. It targets, which heroes like. It gives indestructible, which is a real pain in the butt to deal with. I was thinking about that earlier on, where there's ways to get around protection, but there's very few ways to actually take an indestructible creature off the board. Fleecebane Lion, I was watching somebody do some constructed on YouTube, and there's literally no answer to Fleecebane Lion in Standard right now if you can monstrous it, because it's indestructible and hexproof.
Wow.
You can't kill it by blocking. You can't target it with minus effects. You can't get rid of that freaking card.
So basically, it's planar cleansing or nothing. Or...
No planar. Well, yeah, planar cleansing because it exiles.
Right.
Yeah, but like thankfully, it's only a 4/4 winning monster, so it's not that threatening. But I mean, this effect is definitely a good effect. So I could see this slotting into white decks. I don't know, maybe not quite the white decks that are out there right now. Yeah, it costs. You can give 2 creatures with 2 of them indestructible for the cost of 1 of Johnny's Presence. So I mean, there's all sorts of little things like that. But no, it's a pretty decent little card. So.
Yep. Maybe someone will do something with it, but I think as much as I wasn't a fan of a Johnny's Presence, I like it better than this card.
Yeah, a Johnny's Presence is that, I'm at turn 6 and I have 3 creatures in play and I'm gonna not convoke. God. I'm gonna replicate it 3 times.
That's what it is. Okay, let's
just
say I'm gonna
it's just
kicker it.
Yeah, I'm gonna kicker. I'm gonna multi-kicker.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Alright. Well, cool. Let's look at the next one. It's a card that we've all been waiting for. Evolving Wilds.
I'm so happy. Oh my gosh. You don't think a utility land like this...
You don't miss it till it's gone.
Yeah, you don't think you would miss it, but it's so useful. It's so useful just to have around. Yeah. And I'm glad they brought 1 of the 2 of them back. I would have liked some new art. Maybe that's just me, because that's still the Eldrazi art, but it's still an awesome card, so... I don't know where it fits right now, because there's a lot of monocolor decks going on, but... no, I'm very happy to see it back, so...
Me too. It's good.
Yep.
Although I would like to see an uncommon that did this, but there was no tapped qualifier. Take that, fetch lands.
Yeah, maybe it only gets a basic.
That's what I'm saying. This exact card, except it doesn't say enters battlefield tap.
Yeah. Thankfully, I don't know, in Standard, I don't know if that tempo hit really makes a huge difference. In Standard Pauper, right now.
Right, we're dealing with guild gates, which are all tapped.
Yeah. Guild gates, and this gives more flexibility than a guild gate.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I like it. I'm happy it's back. I feel good. I mean, overall, just M15, the quality of not only the commons, but on up, it shows me that M14 was a huge mistake, and it should be banished from our memory forever.
You have an unnatural loathing of M14.
Can you name... Okay, 1 card saw play outside of Standard, and that was Young Pyromancer.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the set has already been forgotten. If you sat somebody down and went, name me 5 rares from M14, they would be hard-pressed to do it. It just was not an impressive set. And I know Dan won 95 out of his 100 drafts. But that's not how I gauge a good set myself. So. But no, I think M15, it just feels like, I don't know, many times Spiral Block.
Yeah.
All over.
Exactly. And I'm hoping that this is the tone they want to set. Because if you think about it, what did they bring back? They brought back the Urborg land in this set, which is going to, that sees play in Modern and other formats. So they're bringing that back. They're bringing a lot of cards. I think they want to do this as sort of a minor version of Modern Masters. And if that's the vision they have going forward for the M sets, Court of Calling. Court of Calling and Urborg Tomb of Urmoth. I can't think of the guy's last name. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth?
Yeah, I think.
If that's what they're looking for, and then they put the Hushwing Griff. Seriously. Wow, that was loud, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, we're getting kind of hammered, but it's just a thunderstorm.
Okay. Yeah, I think Life's Legacy will see play. It's got all the lands that cause you pain. Oh, Phyrexian Revoker is in this.
I mean,
oh my god, dude, this is an amazing set.
The cycle of the uncommon lords,
Yes.
they all have abilities. The cycle of the uncommon cycle of if you control a planes, and then they all have like activated abilities. The blue one that you can pay a black and a colorless to give a target creature lifelink.
Yep. The what's he called?
Super awesome.
Clark.
Yeah, that thing is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And it goes all the way from commons all the way up, though. Like, there's some duds, but that's every set because Morrow goes, you have to have bad cards because they touch skill. But he does. I don't do a good Morrow impression. But like, I've been really impressed by the set, and I can't wait until he does like a drive to work on it and talks about it, because I'll be really enraptured in why they decided to go way beyond any core set that I can think of in terms of flavor, in terms of power, in terms of really just like making a neat set, just a fun to look at set. Because after M14 and really even M13 wasn't all that like exciting, and then they took out some stuff that have become kind of staples like Essence Scatter or some of that type of stuff. But like shaking things up isn't bad, and I'm so tired of having my creatures Essence Scattered. Because there's nothing you can do about it in Pauper. No. There just really isn't. It's just like one of the worst feelings in the world. So,
they also created my most favorite land of all time, Sliver Hive.
Yeah, that thing.
My God, that's awesome.
Man, I can't wait until it becomes legal, and then I'm gonna read like the Tribal Apocalypse articles. And it's all going to become slivers. Did you see? I sent that email with the blue sliver, the blue uncommon.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
It turns all of your creatures, all your slivers into Frost Titans.
It's ridiculous.
It is. It's stupid good. It's the best, I think, of that little cycle.
Right. Oh, no, that's the white one. The white one does that. The constricting sliver?
That's the one that turns all of your creatures all of your slivers into O-rings.
Well, the blue one does if they have to pay extra to target it.
They have to pay 2 mana or their target effect gets canceled.
Right.
Countered. And then the white one, whenever a sliver comes into play, you can remove target creature from the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, both of those are awesome. It's just the blue one only costs 3 mana. The white one costs 6.
Yuck.
So, but I mean, that white one, reanimate that into play, and you're really good.
Oh, dude, the blue one is 2 mana.
2 mana?
2.
Bob is going to put that in his sliver deck.
He will, and we'll all die.
I will tell you, spoiler, he did get beat. By his second round, I paired him against Negator because I knew he told me on Saturday he was going on vacation, so I went ahead and gave him his pair up.
Oh, I was about to say I didn't get my pair up. Oh, you already
no,
did.
it's on the site. I put it up like a few hours ago.
Oh, okay.
No, he got rolled. I don't know what he played. So maybe he played that green-blue deck that you guys tested out last night. But no, he got beat. So. But yeah, no.
Alert.
Spoiler, but he posted it on the comments of the article, so
okay.
So it can't be that spoilery. Yeah. But like that's a crazy card. There's just so many crazy cards in the set, and I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. Especially since they're going to pay us to draft.
Oh,
and don't quit Magic and draft for free.
Please don't quit Magic. I'm gonna have to go into some of my alternate accounts that I have and use those free passes.
Yes, because that is awesome. Some people are going to have like 600.
Yeah, who could that be? I don't even like that.
No, I don't know anybody like that either.
All right, dude. Well, let's wrap this up.
Yep.
All right. Contact info, MagicGatheringStrat.com. Both Sam and I write for it. YouTube, you're already here. Click on subscribe. Like the video. We love it.
Like it.
Like it now.
Validate our lives.
We
Do it.
we live in such empty shells of human existence that we need you to click something with your mouse to help us feel good about ourselves. All right, Twitter at MagicGatheringStrat. Also, Twitch TV. Looks like there's someone on our team is actually going to start streaming at some point soon, so keep that in mind. Facebook, if you like that better than normal websites. Magic Gathering, Facebook/MagicGatheringStrat. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put a conglomeration of all the reviews into one giant video that will be released separately from this video. So, be on the lookout if you want it all in one spot. Again, thanks for watching. I'm Brennan.
I'm Sam.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.